Chapter 436. Are you really here for clues? Upon seeing the feedback, Jiang Hao was quite surprised. It turned out that he was indeed a member of the End of All Things, and he even knew about another thing, the Earth Extreme Heart Devouring Pearl. A golden core realm cultivator carrying the Earth Extreme Heart Devouring Pearl. Jiang Hao found it highly unlikely. In a place like this, a golden core realm cultivator was too common, and they might be easily defeated and restrained when necessary. It would be a waste to carry the Earth Extreme Heart Devouring Pearl for nothing. However, he guessed that the End of All Things member likely intended to use the pearl to disrupt the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. Given the goal of the End of All Things, they would indeed do such a thing. After thinking it through, Jiang Hao didn't take any further action and instead followed the woman in front. A short while later, he sensed Qi Tian's gaze, which was filled with anger and resentment. Ignoring this gaze, he took a step forward and surpassed the woman. However, he only surpassed her by a small margin. The one who had already left everyone behind was still ahead. The speed of that person shocked Jiang Hao. It seemed that the people here were indeed quite extraordinary. However, Jiang Hao didn't want to attract too much attention. He simply stayed ahead of the Golden Core Realm cultivator. At this moment, the Golden Core Realm woman felt the pressure. She couldn't believe that she had been overtaken by two people. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't surpass the person next to her. It was an insurmountable gap. She couldn't catch up no matter what she did. Jiang Hao let out a sigh of relief. His victory wasn't just due to his mastery of the technique but also because of the influence of his mental state on his agility. Otherwise, winning would have been extremely difficult. But what about the one who won first place? The Golden Core Realm woman asked in confusion. It seems like he flew away and disappeared. There were too many of us, someone said. The Golden Core Realm woman was speechless. Jiang Hao was also surprised. It seemed that this person had participated in the competition just for the sake of it and not for rewards. Jiang Hao obtained the seed. He didn't know exactly what it was, but he would find out tomorrow. When he went back to Hong Yuye, she teased him. Is that the clue you mentioned? Putting away the seed, Jiang Hao shook his head. Senior must be joking. The clue is that person. Jiang Hao pointed at the furious Qi Tian. What's wrong with him? Hong Yuye asked. I think he might be a member of the End of All Things. We just need to keep an eye on him, Jiang Hao said solemnly. Hong Yuye looked at Jiang Hao in surprise. He hadn't lied this time. Is he really here to find clues? Hong Yuye wondered. What's wrong, senior? Jiang Hao asked. You are really doing your best to complete the task I gave you, Hong Yuye said. I dare not slack off when doing tasks for you, senior, Jiang Hao said respectfully. Hong Yuye chuckled. That's how it should be. After that, Jiang Hao didn't participate in any more competitions and simply observed Qi Tian from a distance. Qi Tian seemed to want to find a major competition that he could win, but he lacked any particularly outstanding qualities, so it was unlikely that he would attract any attention. While observing Qi Tian, Jiang Hao also paid attention to Xiao Li and the others. At this moment, Xiao Li was sitting on the side and talking with the spirit beast. Chu Chuan was facing the people from before. Jiang Hao was quite interested to see what he would do. As he watched Chu Chuan, he suddenly felt that many people around him were also paying close attention, even Qi Tian. It seemed that it was because of Chu Jia. I didn't look for you on the first day because I didn't want to add pressure to junior sister Chu Jia. Now that junior sister is preparing for advancement, it won't be affected by you. The arena is right there. Dare you go up? You shall look down at Chu Chuan. What's there to fear? Chu Chuan glared at him. Wait a moment, Tao Yin suddenly said. According to the rules, we need 3 disciples from the same sect to participate together and take turns fighting. You can choose someone. After all, everyone's cultivation is suppressed to the early stage of the Foundation establishment realm, Yu Sha said. Chu Chuan looked at Xiao Li. Xiao Li was called over. Soon they had all 3 participants. From Heavenly Note sect, Chu Chuan, Xiao Li, and the Spirit Beast participated. From the Bright Moon sect, Yu Sha, Tao Yun, and Hui Jian participated. At the arena, Chu Chuan was the first to jump onto the platform. He stared at Yu Sha and said, Come on. Yu Sha sneered, but just as he was about to step up, Tao Yun jumped onto the platform. The formation activated and the competition began. Yu Sha was speechless. He frowned but didn't say anything. In any case, he wanted to make it clear to the other person how insignificant an early stage of the Foundation establishment realm was. It was nothing at all. I'll fight you, Tao Yun said to Chu Chuan. Chu Chuan knew that Tao Yun had rushed ahead of Wuxia intentionally. Even if he wasn't a match for her, he still had to try. You may not be aware of the difference between us, but the speed of your progress has made you a bit overconfident, Tao Yun said softly. Fighting me is better than fighting Wuxia. At least I don't have to endure too much humiliation. He didn't say that out loud, thought. In Tao Yun's view, Chu Chuan was already quite formidable, especially considering that he had accumulated 600 spirit stones before reaching the Foundation Establishment realm. However, compared to Chu Jia, the gap was still too vast. Even if there was nothing between them, people would judge him harshly. He would definitely have a hard time at the Bright Moon sect. As for what Tao Yun just said, Chu Chuan didn't believe it. Both were in the early stage of the Foundation Establishment realm, and no matter how talented the other person was, they couldn't be that powerful. Sorry for this. Chu Chuan dashed out with a whoosh. Tao Yun shifted slightly to avoid his attack. In that small fraction of time, she struck Chu Chuan's arm with her palm. With a thunderous sound, Chu Chuan was pushed back. Jiang Hao watched and knew that Chu Chuan had already lost. The gap in strength was just too wide. Even if Chu Chuan used all his strength, he couldn't win against this young woman. Their gap wasn't in experience but in control of power. That was a gap that was difficult to bridge. At that moment, Jiang Hao saw Fang Jin walking over with a middle-aged man. It was the senior Han Xiao who had made a deal with him before. He looked up at Chu Chuan on the platform and was surprised. Did I make a mistake back then? I think so. Fang Jin nodded. I heard that he didn't have any special encounters. He just cultivated daily. At most, he had the resources given to him by you. He didn't have any famous teachers guiding him either. Han Xiao looked at Chu Chuan. Did you invite him to join the sect? I did, but he refused, Fang Jin said. He's got some backbone, but he's going to take quite a blow this time, Han Xiao said. Fang Jin looked at Chu Chuan without saying anything. At this moment, Chu Chuan attacked again. He was extremely fast. His techniques were seamlessly integrated with his fists and feet as if he wanted to break through his opponent's defenses in one go. However, no matter how he attacked, he couldn't hit his opponent. Sometimes he was repelled by a single strike from his opponent. Boom. After exhausting all his attacks, Chu Chuan was pushed back by Tao Yun. Surrender. You're not my match, Tao Yun said. Chu Chuan gritted his teeth and attacked again. This time his blood burned and his aura surged. He still couldn't keep up with Tao Yun's speed. However, as the flames burned in his body, his speed increased. Tao Yun was just dodging his attacks before, but now she was actively defending herself. Jiang Hao watched and sighed inwardly. His unyielding personality would make him suffer. But this was his path, and stopping here would mean weakness. Chapter 437. Defeating the opponent with one punch. Chu Chuan is going to lose, but he's quite formidable. It's just that he seems a bit impulsive, said Bai Qiong beside Fang Jin. Jiang Hao heard this but didn't think it was untrue. Chu Chuan had to accept defeat with dignity if he wanted to become stronger. Only setbacks could teach him how to become a stronger individual. In the brutal world of cultivation, it was the best way for him to become stronger. As long as he didn't stray from the path, he would definitely shine in the future. In the arena, Tao Yun felt a bit uneasy. Are you crazy? She struck with her palm and injured Chu Chuan. She hoped it would make him lose before any more damage. Continuing the fight like this wouldn't be good. However, Chu Chuan stood up once again from the ground. His lifeblood continued to burn. He attacked once more. Tao Yun tiptoed lightly and then kicked. With a loud thud, Chu Chuan fell to the ground again. Tao Yun thought he wouldn't be able to get up this time. However, Chu Chuan stood up again. Once again he started his assault. Tao Yun was uncertain and finally decided to fight alongside Chu Chuan. Their fists and feet clashed. They seemed evenly matched. Then she found an opening. She struck Chu Chuan with her palm, but she was hit in the shoulder. It made her take a few steps back. Would this be enough? Tao Yun thought. Even though he had already suffered many injuries, Chu Chuan still stood up. Tao Yun frowned and attacked again. Chu Chuan fell to the ground yet again. This time, some bones in his body were broken from the impact. Surely he can't get up now, Tao Yun thought. However, Chu Chuan struggled to get up. He looked at Tao Yun with an indomitable spirit. Then he roared in anger and his strength began to surge. He had made a slight advancement in his cultivation. Using this momentum, he launched another attack. However, Tao Yun's attack severely injured Chu Chuan, and he fell to the ground once again. This time I didn't hold back. It surprised me, Tao Yun said. If he had the same time and resources as her, he would have defeated her. Chu Chuan looked at Tao Yun from the ground. His eyes burned with shame. He was still too weak. He felt like a mad, powerless beast going on a rampage. The gap in strength was too wide. Senior brother Jiang had told him as much, but he wasn't willing to believe it. Well done, said the spirit beast as it landed beside Chu Chuan with Xiao Li. A friend once told me that all difficulties you face in life are there to help you hone your skills to reach your potential. You should thank them for being the stepping stones to your success. I make friends with sincerity. But these little children don't show me any respect at all, even when they know you're my friend. Xiao Li, let's teach them a lesson. Xiao Li looked at Tao Yun and her group. You all should fight me together. Only we can beat up our junior brother. No one else is allowed to do that. Chu Chuan looked at the spirit beast with excitement. He was grateful that Xiao Li had said those words. Jiang Hao watched from a distance. He felt helpless. Who taught Xiao Li to be so brazen? The people from the Heavenly Note sect are really arrogant, Yu Sha said as he arrived at the arena. I'll take you on alone. If you can defeat me, you win. I'll even give you all the spirit stones I have. If you lose, I won't take your spirit stones, but the next time you see me, you better lower your head and bow. Also, I'll be suppressing my cultivation to match yours. If you're unwilling, just take back your words. There's no shame in acknowledging your weakness. Do you still take pride in the fact that you achieved the Foundation Establishment realm at a young age? Are you still proud? Xiao Li puffed up her cheeks. Who's talking big now? If you keep provoking me, I'll get angry and hit you. Then you better give it your all. I'm not Tao Yun. I won't hold back. I'll make you see how big the gap between us is with just one strike. Yu Sha sneered. The spirit beast and Chu Chuan stepped back. Tao Yun also stepped back. In the arena, only Xiao Li and Yu Sha remained. Fang Jin looked at Xiao Li and frowned. Who's that little girl? She's a bit strange, Han Xiao said. But he was more concerned about Chu Chuan. His recent burst of power had caught his attention. It seemed like he had really missed a promising talent. But there were so many talents out there and missing one shouldn't matter much. It was just that he had misjudged this particular child. It bothered him. Maybe his surge in power was just for a fleeting moment. He might not amount to much in the future. Boom. Suddenly a loud noise rang out. Bai Qiong exclaimed, "How is this possible?" Han Xiao was puzzled and looked over in astonishment. What he saw left him shocked. Yu Sha lay on the ground. His teeth had been knocked out. He couldn't even get up. The girl who had struck him seemed a bit flustered. I didn't know he was so fragile. Xiao Li turned to the spirit beast for help. She was anxious. Fighting outside with such abandon would get them in trouble. Her mother had scolded her before. She knew senior brother Jiang would scold her this time. Tao Yun and the others were stunned. They wondered if Yu Sha had let his guard down after all. Yu Sha, on the other hand, was astonished. He didn't even know what had happened. This is the early stage of the Foundation Establishment realm. It was impossible. That punch had beat someone in the late stage of the Foundation Establishment realm. But there was no change in the formation. It meant that the attack was truly of the early stage of the Foundation Establishment realm. Yu Sha lowered his head in shame. He didn't even want to get up from the ground. Jiang Hao watched Yu Sha and shook his head. In truth, Xiao Li had not fought fairly. But there was no fairness in the world. However, when he saw Xiao Li receiving many spirit stones, he was stunned. That child had kept his word and handed over all the spirit stones he had. So, you can earn spirit stones like this? Jiang Hao was somewhat tempted, but he held a senior status here. If he were to engage in combat with the Golden Corn Foundation Establishment realm cultivators, he would undoubtedly be mocked. It was better to keep a low profile. At night, Jiang Hao and Hong Yuye followed Qi Tian. They wanted to see if they could find more people from the end of all things. But the more they followed, the more familiar Jiang Hao felt with his surroundings. They had followed him to the area where the team from the Heavenly Note sect was staying. What does he want to do here? Jiang Hao was puzzled until he saw the other person entering Chu Chuan's room. Then he understood. It seems that the end of all things has targeted your junior brother, Hong Yuye said with a soft laugh. Jiang Hao hadn't expected the end of all things to come looking for Chu Chuan. He had expected them to find Lin Ji instead. However, in the Bright Moon sect, Chu Chuan's status was somewhat infamous. Besides, he had been pinned down today, so it was indeed worth trying to win him over. The question was how he intended to win him over. A moment later, Hong Yuya and Jiang Hao silently entered Chu Chuan's room too. Qi Tian was dressed in a black robe, and his face was not properly visible. When he entered, the formation began to cover the room. It was apparently done to prevent any accidents. "Who are you?" Chu Chuan, who was sitting at the table, looked toward the door. Qi Tian stood there and gazed at Chu Chuan, but he didn't speak. Chu Chuan struggled to get up, but he remained alert. He seemed ready to flee at any moment. "Don't worry. I am not your enemy," Qi Tian said. "Not my enemy?" Chu Chuan stared at the person who had suddenly appeared. "Then are you a friend?" Chapter 438, I want to surpass her on her pedestal. For people stood in what looked like an ordinary guest room. By the window there was a man in a black robe. At the table in the middle were several young people wrapped in gauze. A man and a woman were watching them from the shadows. However, no one noticed them. Jiang Hao was quite surprised. This was Hong Yuye's doing. Even when they stood in the room in front of everyone, no one could see them. He wondered if Hong Yuye used the same method to visit him. But his perception was not bad, and they both had the heaven extinction goo poison. When they got close to each other, they were able to sense it. "We're not friends yet, but we can be," said Qi Tian said. "What do you want to talk about, then?" Chu Chuan asked as he took a step back. Jiang Hao saw that he was trying to get closer to the window. He was attempting to escape. "Is it true that Chu Jie from the Bright Moon sect is your childhood friend?" Qi Tian asked. "Childhood friend?" Chu Chuan looked puzzled and then shook his head. "Senior, are you mistaken? At most, we're just from the same hometown." "I see, but I heard that you have a very close relationship with her. You even spent all your spirit stones to buy her a gift," said Qi Tian. His tone suddenly turned hostile. "But they insulted you. They called you a country bumpkin and took your hard-earned spirit stones. Even Chu Jie didn't speak up for you, did she? Doesn't she know your situation? Doesn't she know that in your sect you're just an ordinary disciple? Doesn't she know you only earn a few spirit stones a month? Does such a young woman deserve the gift that you bought her with all your spirit stones?" Chu Chuan lowered his head. The words stung him. "She is the Bright Moon sect's prodigy. She's different from you. She no longer cares about you. Perhaps, in her heart, you're no longer worthy of her," Qi Tian said. "So?" Chu Chuan asked. "I can help you bring her down from her pedestal. I can help you make her suffer, and then you can go and comfort her. Women are at their most vulnerable when they're down, and that's the best time to win their hearts," Qi Tian said. Chu Chuan fell silent for a long time. "What if I refuse? Then we can't be friends, but we won't be enemies either. I'll just turn around and leave. But you should think carefully. This is your only chance. If you don't seize it, there won't be anyone in this world who will lift a finger to help you. No one will understand you," Qi Tian said. "Why are you trying to help me?" Chu Chuan asked. "Because we want to, that's all," Qi Tian said. "We?" Chu Chuan was puzzled. "Yes. You can trust our strength," Qi Tian said. Chu Chuan looked at him. He was at the window now. He was searching for an opening to flee. "If I agree, what would I need to do?" he asked. "It's very simple. You just have to carry something with you and wait for our instructions." Qi Tian hadn't finished speaking when Chu Chuan moved. He used his strongest force to hit the window. With a bang, Chu Chuan bounced back. Looking at Chu Chuan on the ground, Qi Tian sighed. "It seems you don't trust me. Why should I trust you? Who even are you?" Since he couldn't escape, Chu Chuan did away with the pretense. "Does it really matter who I am? When you were insulted and pushed around, didn't you wish for someone to come to your aid? Do you really need to know who I am to accept my help?" Qi Tian asked. "Help me with what?" Chu Chuan looked at him. "Would Chu Jie have taken you to buy something you couldn't afford if it wasn't just to humiliate you and show you your place?" Qi Tian asked. "That's true. Chu Jie did take me to a shop where I couldn't afford anything. I couldn't even lift my head because of embarrassment," said Chu Chuan. "Isn't that just it?" Qi Tian said. Chu Chuan shook his head. "I understand that everyone pities me, but I don't want pity. My senior brother did warn me. He explained everything to me so that I would be prepared before coming here. So I understand that things change. It might not be as you would imagine them to be. And you can only truly understand it after you experience it. The answer is clear to me now more than it is to you, it seems." "What about the humiliation in that arena?" Was that fake too? Qi asked. Jiang Hao saw that he was trying to get closer to the window. He was attempting to escape. It was real, Ana 1 RITLT. Many people mock me. One remember all or it very clearly. But I won't be discouraged by it. I will fight for it and one day I will take back my dignity from them. I will surpass them and make them understand that today's humiliation will fall on them as well. No one should bully the poor or the weak. Chu Chuan's eyes burned with determination. And why would I bring down Chu Jie from her pedestal? I want to surpass her on her pedestal, he said. Qi Tian was stunned. He felt that this child was ignorant and foolish, even arrogant. But he was deeply moved by Chu Chuan's determination. It seemed to remind him of his past. In the end he didn't say anything and turned to leave. Jiang Hao glanced at Chu Chuan and felt it was time to let him go. Chu Chuan had stirred his immortal heart. In the future he would definitely attract the attention of many powerful people. The cliff of broken hearts shouldn't hold him back. After that he left and caught up with Qi Tian. Are you going to just give up? Jiang Hao caught up to him. Who are you? Qi Tian stepped back. He stared at the person in front of him. Late stage of the Foundation establishment realm. The person seemed dangerous. You don't need to concern yourself with who I am. I'm just curious why you gave up on Chu Chuan just like that. I don't think the end of all things would look down on him so much, Jiang Hao said. When he heard the name of the organization he belonged to, Qi Tian was stunned. He thought of fleeing from there. Once the information was leaked, he would undoubtedly face death. The Bright Moon sect was currently trying to eliminate them everywhere they went. Getting close to the Bright Moon sect was extremely dangerous. No need to run. With your Golden Core Realm cultivation, you can't escape anyway, Jiang Hao calmly said. He had already mobilized all his power to prevent the person in front of him from fleeing or ending himself. People from the end of all things were capable of anything, so he couldn't be careless. What do you want? Qi Tian asked. I just want to know why you spared Chu Chuan, Jiang Hao said. He was genuinely curious. He could have been used to harm Chu Jie. There's no reason for it. Foolish and ignorant people like him have no value, Qi Tian said. It seems like you don't really like talking about this. Well then I'll change the topic. Is the Earth Extreme Heart Devouring Pearl on you? Jiang Hao stared at him. I don't understand what you're talking about. What pearl? Qi Tian appeared completely bewildered. Jiang Hao whispered, let's make a deal. If you cooperate I can let you go. Chapter 439. Let me first tell you what I can offer and then you can decide. Deal? Qi Tian looked at the man in front of him. If I don't want to, can I leave? Jiang Hao nodded. There really was no need to force the issue. Then I refuse, Qi Tian said. Jiang Hao sighed. I suggest you listen to the whole thing first. I don't think you'll give me anything in return and with your strength, I have no choice at all. Even if I complete your request you'll still use me. When I'm not useful anymore you'll kill me and find someone else, Qi Tian said. Jiang Hao was surprised because this person saw through things quite clearly. However, he wasn't that kind of person. He usually killed people only if they were a threat to him. Jiang Hao waved his hand. Let me first tell you what I can offer and then you can decide. Qi Tian was puzzled. He was on guard against any sudden moves from this person. But what surprised him was that as soon as he got closer, a force suppressed him. He couldn't move. For a moment, he was worried because he didn't want to die here uselessly. But soon he realized he was overthinking. It seemed that this person just wanted to talk. When Jiang Hao offered him the deal he was stunned. My reward is that I can help you kill an elder of the Blood Shadow sect. Those words pricked his heart. Qi Tian felt that he could do anything for that one goal. Any elder? He asked. Of course. Jiang Hao nodded. You help me first and I'll work for you, Qi Tian said. Jiang Hao shook his head. That's not possible. I don't need you to serve me and your life is worthless to me. I only want to make a trade. You get what I want and I can provide you with what you want. The elders of the sect must be powerful. Jiang Hao didn't know if he could kill an elder, but Xing still owed him a favor. If he couldn't do it maybe others could. But everything had to wait until after the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment succeeded. With Hong Yuya around, the area he was responsible for should have no problem. After that, he could let Xing take action. The only thing to consider was that there would definitely be people at the gathering who would be suspicious of why Xing was making a move instead of Jiang Hao. It didn't matter. If Xing felt it was important enough he could make a move. What do you want? And why should I trust you? Qi Tian asked. Why should you trust me? Jiang Hao chuckled. Why do you trust the end of all things? Why do you want everyone to end? Can the death of the entire world compare to the death of one elder? You could kill those elders by yourself. Qi Tian looked at the man in front of him and finally lowered his head. Just tell me what you want and I'll do it, he said. Jiang Hao smiled. Do you have the Earth Extreme Heart-Devouring Pearl on you? Yes, but Qi Tian took out a small sealed fragment. It was green and looked like a shard. Jiang Hao could tell at a glance that it was indeed a fragment of the Earth Extreme Heart-Devouring Pearl. He took the fragment and knew that this thing couldn't affect him much. But if used well, it might have miraculous effects on other things. The best way to make use of it would probably be to place it on Chu Chuan and make him get closer to Chu Jia. How much do you know about the end of all things? Jiang Hao asked. Not much, but I know they are powerful, Qi Tian said. Who brought you into the end of all things? One of my seniors. Does he know what the end of all things intends to do? He might know something. He often goes out. What else do you know besides that? They are targeting Chu Jia. It's said that Chu Jia is going to complete the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. Once successful, the balance will tilt. Is that all? Isn't that enough? Jiang Hao shook his head. This information was far from enough. Now, it seemed that the only way to find out more was to find this senior. What do you want to know? I can ask around for you, Qi Tian said anxiously. I want to know the secrets of the end of all things, especially those related to the southern region. Do you know anything about that? Jiang Hao asked. I can ask around. I heard from my senior that as long as I succeed this time, he will take me to meet an expert. I can inquire for you, I swear. My senior is not as easy to control as I am, Qi Tian said. Jiang Hao thought for a moment. Which elder do you want gone? Qi Tian was overjoyed. Qinyi. He's here too. Jiang Hao nodded. Wait for my message. If I make a move, you'll have to ask around and find out more about your organization. Wait for me to make contact. After that, Jiang Hao disappeared in the moonlight. In the woods, Jiang Hao appeared beside Hong Yuya. You're not going to kill him? Hong Yuya asked. Not yet, Jiang Hao said. There really was no need to kill Qi Tian. However, once Jiang Hao helped him get his revenge, it would be difficult to control him. Jiang Hao didn't have a plan. He just wanted to plant a pawn. Even then, it would be difficult to succeed. The human heart was unpredictable. If the other person's revenge was put on hold, he would work hard. If the revenge was done, Qi Tian might refuse to fulfill his side of the bargain. Everything needed careful consideration. Right now, the thing of importance was the fragment of the Earth Extreme Heart-Devouring Pearl. There should be quite a few fragments here. All to destroy the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, Jiang Hao said. Just that won't be enough. The Bright Moon sect is not weak. They are far stronger than these ragtag masses. Even if the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment is fragile right now, it is still something that an immortal sect has put all its effort into promoting. It won't be so easy to disrupt the attainment of the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, Hong Yuya said. Jiang Hao nodded. The next day they returned to the inn. Jiang Hao sat at the table and took out the holy medicine seed. The seed was reddish-brown and surged with a powerful aura. Other than that, there was nothing strange about it. Jiang Hao appraised it. Jiang Hao frowned. There were just so many conditions for the growth of this seed. It was the first time he had seen such a complicated seed. Plants like the heavenly fragrance Tao flower only needed watering once a day. High-grade spirit herbs needed both spirit liquid and spirit stones. But sweet leaf cold grass seed required so many things. He wondered how many spirit stones it would cost. However, once it took root and sprouted, he might get purple bubbles. Of course, the effect of the sweet leaf cold grass was also extraordinary. It enhanced one's cultivation aptitude. Unfortunately, he didn't need any improvement on that front. Cultivation aptitude was the speed at which one absorbs spiritual energy. He didn't really need to enhance that. If it were about enhancing comprehension, it would have been much better. Watering it 7 times meant it would take almost a month and a half to germinate. He could only wait until he got back. After that, he had to wait for others' reactions to the new findings and keep an eye on Qi Tian. Half a month later, around mid-June, the Tao conference was in full swing. During this time, Chu Jia appeared twice. One time, she used the star moon healing technique and allowed everyone to recover their peak physical condition. The other time, she bestowed blessings and helped with everyone's comprehension. Chu Jie's influence began to grow. In the evening, Jiang Hao received a message from Wuxia. Meet me outside the city at the Star Moon Temple. Jiang Hao was surprised. What did these people want with him? Chapter 440, No longer daring to show off. The Star Moon Temple was located on a mountain outside the Star Moon City. It was said to be a place of worship for a celestial lord. Most visitors there were ordinary non-cultivators. Jiang Hao found it to be a small temple. Here, Wuxia stood on the rooftop. These two were relentless. Jiang Hao had no intention of getting too involved witn Tnem. Powerful individuals were often unpredictable. Once they discovered that he was using Hong Yuye's power, who knew what might happen? Powerful people were capricious toward the weak but were polite to other strong individuals. Senior, why did you suddenly contact me? Jiang Hao asked. We've captured someone and learned some information. We wanted to ask for your opinion. Wuxia smiled. What happened? Jiang Hao was puzzled. The matters that even these seniors couldn't handle were beyond his capabilities. However, he had Hong Yuye behind him. If it was related to the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, he could try asking her. Come. Wuxia jumped down from the roof and entered the temple. The temple was neatly kept. As Jiang Hao passed by a table, he reached out to wipe it and found that there was not even a speck of dust on it. It seemed like this small temple was maintained very meticulously. Inside the temple, there was an idol of a celestial lord that was surrounded by stars. But the name of this lord was unclear. Beneath the statue, a woman was tied up and lying on the ground. Si Qing leaned against the statue as he drank his wine. Fellow disciple Jiang, he mumbled. Did your beloved not come here with you? Jiang Hao was speechless. It was a good thing she hadn't come with him. Jiang Hao looked at the woman on the ground and noticed that her waist and legs were a little exposed. For a moment he thought these seniors were being a little improper in capturing her like this. The woman had long hair. She was gagged with a white cloth and she looked furious. This is a member of the fallen immortal clan. Her cultivation isn't bad. Based on the information you provided earlier, we tracked her down, Wuxia said. Jiang Hao was surprised that they had been busy with this for the past half-month. What are they planning? Jiang Hao asked. The fallen immortal clan has collaborated with the End of All Things, as well as a special group called the Saint Bandits, Wuxia said with a smile. Now, the most obvious thing is that these three parties are teaming up and they have clear divisions of labor. The End of All Things wants to disrupt the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment by using certain things, such as the Earth Extreme Heart Devouring Pearl. The fallen immortal clan has powerful individuals who are taking action and want to undermine the reputation of the Bright Moon sect by spreading rumors about us. This will make the others doubt us and some might choose to willingly withdraw. The Saint Bandits are the strangest of them all. They wait for an opportunity and will only strike when the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment is about to be completed. At that time, if the seniors of the Bright Moon sect are held back, things could get quite fatal. Can't the Bright Moon sect handle these three forces? Jiang Hao asked. They can. Si Qing stood up. Dealing with them is not difficult, but the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment will take the strength and focus of all the powerful individuals. The whole of the Bright Moon sect's strength and power will be focused on the Heavenly Tao at that time. Jiang Hao nodded. It seems attaining the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was much more difficult than he had imagined. The Bright Moon sect had to use all its strength and power, and the other forces were simply taking advantage of this vulnerability. Now, we plan to find the fallen immortal clan and deal with them first. However, this person isn't talking. Wuxia looked at Jiang Hao. We want to ask for your help to find their hideout. Trying to spy on them proved difficult. They aren't weak and have acquired treasures and methods to help them. If we try anything, they might notice and move elsewhere. Jiang Hao felt helpless. He didn't have any intelligence to offer. Should I use the daily appraisal? After some thought, Jiang Hao decided against it. He had already made use of this method in the Lawless Tower. Now, with these two seniors watching, it was better to keep a low profile. After observing the woman for a moment, Jiang Hao shook his head. I was just lucky before to come across the information. I can't do anything right now. In that case, would you like to compose a poem to express your regret in this situation? Wuxia quickly asked. Jiang Hao was speechless. Why are you so obsessed with poems? Jiang Hao didn't say anything. If these two people continued watching him, he might get into trouble. Fortunately, this was the eastern region and he belonged to the south. If they were in the south, it would prove to be risky for him. Disciple Jiang, no poem at all? Wuxia pressed him. I really can't remember anything right now, Jiang Hao said. Just one line? Then we'll never ask for it again, Wuxia said earnestly. Jiang Hao was at a loss. In the end, he bid farewell to the two. He didn't recite any poems, but he did promise to do his best to help. He also learned one thing from Si Cheng. Early July was the most suitable time for the advancement of the heavenly Tao. Just half a month remained till then. Back at the inn, Jiang Hao informed Hong Yuya of the situation. 3 forces. Hong Yuya was silent for a while. Then she said, if the Earth's extreme heart-devouring pearl falls into the hands of the end of all things, the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment this time will most likely fail. Do they have it? Jiang Hao asked. Hong Yuya smiled. The disdain was clear in her eyes. It seemed they didn't have any more fragments. But why was Hong Yuya so confident that they wouldn't be able to get more of the fragments? The day before July, Jiang Hao received another message for a gathering. Tomorrow is the day for achieving the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. Jiang Hao looked at the stone tablet. The gathering was scheduled for midnight. When it was time, Jiang Hao entered the gathering. Senior Dan Yuan was also present this time. After greeting the senior, they all sat cross-legged on the ground. You should all have guessed the purpose of this gathering, Dan Yuan said. Friend Xing, please go on. With a nod of thanks, Xing said, if nothing unexpected happens, tomorrow will be the best time for the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. Borrowing of the power can happen at any time. I hope Gue and Jing can assist me when the time comes. No problem, Gue said with a smile. I've obtained quite a few good things this time, but competing with the strong for the top spot is too difficult. I'm fine with it too, Jiang Hao said in a low voice. He was also curious about what would happen tomorrow. He hoped everything would go smoothly. If anything went wrong, a small fry like him couldn't handle things. Unfortunately, Xiao Li and the others would be present too. He had been keeping an eye on them for the past month. Han Ming was the most active participant. He constantly challenged people. Sometimes he won and sometimes he lost, but his insights were improving and his experience was growing. After obtaining a pill, he quickly reached the peak of the Foundation establishment realm. He was full of confidence and went around telling people that he was lucky to have advanced. Han Ming's performance attracted the attention of the seniors in high positions. They openly acknowledged his blessings and his ability to use his blessings to propel himself to the top. The location is not a problem. Now, let me tell you about some information that I found out recently so you can be prepared, Xing said. I've heard that members of the fallen immortal clan will launch an attack at the crucial moment. They might hide themselves in the most prominent locations so you are still safe. But please be careful. If there is a problem, the people from the Bright Moon sect will rush over to you immediately. Chapter 441. I'm not a match, but I have someone backing me up. Is someone attacking already? Gui didn't look concerned. If they can break through my encirclement, then it's beyond my ability to deal with. Please do your best, Gui, Xing said. Jiang Hao remained silent. He didn't want to say it, but despite his weak cultivation, he had someone strong backing him up. His silence surprised both Xing and Gui. Do you have more information? Dan Yuan asked. I found someone from the end of all things who was carrying a fragment of the Earth extreme heart-devouring pearl. There should be more people like him, Jiang Hao said. I found members of the fallen immortal clan. They're quite stubborn, but under my curse they spilled some information. The fallen immortal clan is cooperating with the end of all things. It seems like they've come for revenge, Gui said. I don't have any direct information, but I heard some related things. Many places want to resist the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. They claim that it damages the overall great luck of various regions. These people have formed a force to stop the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, Lu said solemnly. Many people had such thoughts. It was inevitable. Jiang Hao frowned. He felt helpless. However, he had a different opinion and perception of things, mainly because he had more exposure. If he knew nothing, he would hide in a corner and act when the time was right. Survival came first. Only if he survived could he attempt other things. After all, the battle of major forces was not something an ordinary cultivator like him could interfere with. I heard about that too. The Bright Moon sect has made preparations on 2 fronts. One is with Senior Shang and from the Clear Sky School, but he hasn't appeared for some reason. Even if his master allowed him to leave, he hasn't shown up, Xing said in confusion. Jiang Hao understood why. It was because of his appearance. The Clear Sky School had the means to heal Shang An's face, but he might have refused. Tomorrow probably won't be without issues. You need to stay vigilant. When the Heavenly Dao Foundation establishment begins, it will inevitably attract attention from nearby. If other strong cultivators aren't pleased with it, they might intervene. Nothing is certain, Dan Yuan said. Jiang Hao understood that stopping the Heavenly Dao Foundation establishment would require the intervention of very powerful cultivators. The gathering then ended. Daybreak would mark the start of a crucial moment. Jiang Hao informed Hong Yuye of the situation. Hong Yuye didn't say anything, so Jiang Hao could only wait and watch. After brewing tea, he began to study the 7 forms of the Heavenly Blade. During this period he also learned the One Heart Palm and the 4 forms of the Heavenly Blade. Although he hadn't had much opportunity to use the 4th form yet, he needed to study it in case he had to use it soon. He wouldn't use it unless he was pushed to the brink. When he thoroughly understood it, he could modify it and teach it to Chu Chuan as a parting gift when he left the sect. The other 3 forms became more powerful and easier to understand the more he studied them. As for the One Heart Palm technique, he had studied it sufficiently. He had attempted to imprint it on animals, but it had failed. It seemed that even for casting an imprint, the right person was needed. He couldn't find the right person for now, so he had no choice but to wait. The 2 of them gazed at the moonlight and sipped tea as the sun slowly rose on the horizon. A new day began. Along with the rising sun, the vast power of the bright moon sect awakened. This was the culmination of this month's efforts, which had reached its peak. It's starting, Hong Yuye said. Jiang Hao nodded. He looked ahead. He was eager to see how special this event would be. At daybreak, a group of people emerged from the underground. They split into several teams and moved ahead. One group headed toward Star Moon City. Are we attacking the Bright Moon sect directly? Just a few of us might not be up to the task, said someone mid-flight. No, we're not launching a direct attack. We're cooperating with some of the members of the End of All Things to attack from specific locations, said a middle-aged man leading the group. Will we succeed? A young person asked. Maybe not, but it will have some effect. Unfortunately, we couldn't catch Chu Chuan. Otherwise, we could have caught them off guard. The leader sighed. They quickly flew over Star Moon City and continued onward. Where do we sneak in? We can see the location where the attainment of the Heavenly Dao Foundation establishment will begin from that side. Is that an important location? Yes. For such an important location, the Bright Moon sect will undoubtedly send people to guard it. Why don't we contact the End of All Things and choose a less prominent location? I think our chances of success would be higher that way. The leader stopped in his tracks. What if that location also has guards? In that case we can find a wider place. We can either enter or retreat if we have to, suggested a young woman. What place would be suitable? The Line Canyon to the south. It's dangerous if we get ambushed, but it's a suitable location. Is there any other place? The Twin City Peak to the north. It's spacious, but it's also easy to be noticed. They continued discussing the terrain. Finally, the leader pointed to the Twin City Peak. Let's enter from here. The terrain is complex, with mountains and rivers, and high altitudes have some restrictions which can be advantageous for us. The only drawback is that we need to figure out the direction. We can do that. Gu Qing and her group infiltrated from there before, so they've mapped out the best route. Someone produced a map. Good. Prepare your magical treasures. After entering, we'll strike at the weakest point. After that, we'll retreat regardless of success or failure. The others nodded and they continued on their way. Inside the Bright Moon sect, Xiao Li and the others arrived at the square. I feel like something's off today. Chu Chuan looked around. People seem very serious. It's probably because of the Heavenly Dao Foundation establishment, Mu Qi said as he joined them. It's the purpose of the Dao conference after all. What is the Heavenly Dao Foundation establishment? Xiao Li asked. The spirit beast stood on Chu Chuan's shoulder and looked at the sky. This doesn't look good. The spiritual energy around us doesn't make me feel good. It's as the beast said, Mu Qi said solemnly. The Heavenly Dao Foundation establishment is the most important event that is going to happen today. They will use all their power and even borrow ours to attain it. Who would need such a massive power just to reach the Foundation establishment realm? Chu Chuan asked in shock. Such a grand exhibition just to reach the Foundation establishment realm was unheard of. It's that girl Chu Jie, Muqi said. Everything is for her. It is to ensure her success in achieving the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment today. It's said that attempting the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment only happens once every few thousand years. It's even more rare and difficult to succeed at it. Just goes to show how exceptional Chu Jie might be. Chu Chuan was stunned. He remembered what Jiang Hao had told him. Chu Jie was even more remarkable than he had thought. Nonetheless, he still hoped for Chu Jie's success. Normally, such an important matter wouldn't be disclosed because people might not want her to succeed. But now it's all in the open. It all depends on the showdown between the two sides at this point, Muqi said. Chapter 442, All eyes on her but not all hope rested on her. Chu Chuan finally understood what Chu Jie wanted to become and what she needed to face in order to achieve her goal. After a short walk he found that rumors were everywhere and they were mostly negative. Let's go back to our seats. You probably won't be allowed to challenge others today, Muqi said to them. Shaoli didn't mind. She didn't like fighting with people. She just waited every day for this event to be over so she could go back and eat. Junior sister Shaoli, how many people have you fought here? Muqi asked on the way. Just a few. They said they'd give me spirit stones if I won, Shaoli said. Did you earn a lot of spirit stones? Muqi asked. Shaoli reached for her storage magic treasure. These are for buying gifts for senior brother Jiang. Jiang Hao? Muqi asked. Shaoli nodded. Muqi smiled. Don't buy anything too expensive. Considering junior brother Jiang's personality, he'll find it troublesome if it's too valuable. Shaoli's mind was full of thoughts about buying desserts for Jiang Hao. She didn't know what senior brother Muqi meant by too valuable. Son, the people from the Heavenly Note sect all arrived in their designated area. The Peak Master of the Law Enforcement Peak, Cheng Lu, and the Cliff Master of the Cliff of Broken Hearts, Ku Wu Chang, were both on guard. Whether it turns out good or bad, we can't avoid whatever happens today. I don't know what might happen, Cheng Lu said. The Clear Sky School and other formidable sects are here too. It would affect us too much, I think, said Ku Wu Chang. Cheng Lu sighed and looked at Chu Chuan and Shaoli. These two disciples of yours are quite remarkable. Ku Wu Chang frowned. Shaoli indeed was promising, but he shook his head and didn't say anything more. He wanted to teach her many things, but it was a pity she couldn't pay attention. He then turned to look at Lu Xingqian. Your disciple is also quite unique. Although others are not lacking in talent, he seems to be different. Different? Cheng Lu smiled. If you knew his reason for joining the Heavenly Note sect, you would find him even more unique. This caught the attention of everyone, including the master of the Heavenly Joy Pavilion, who hadn't spoken yet. Cheng Lu smiled. I still remember his reason. He said he was bored and wanted to join a demonic sect. While they were talking, there was a commotion nearby. Let me go. If I stay here, I'll definitely die. They want to harvest us to build their foundation. Let me go. They saw a young man struggling against two people who were restraining him. They seemed to be fellow sect members. They tried to persuade him. Junior brother, don't be like this. How could the Bright Moon sect harm us? I think they are about to explain everything. Just calm down. Calm down? They clearly want to smother us. Let me go. If you don't leave, you'll die, but I don't want to die, the young man said frantically. At this moment, a disciple of the Bright Moon sect walked over to them. He looked at the three people. What are you doing? Our junior brother believes in rumors too easily. If you explain things to him, everything will be fine. He still trusts you deep down, said one of the senior disciples who was holding on to the struggling junior. The Bright Moon sect disciple nodded. I see. Come with me then. I'll explain it to you. But Before the young man could speak, the Bright Moon sect disciple used his magic treasure to take them away without another word. Muqi and the others watched this unfold. Do you think that is normal, senior brother? Han Ming asked. If this were in our Heavenly Note sect, these three would be a source of spirit stones. Muqi shook his head and laughed. Most of the people who chose to stay in the Bright Moon sect could be categorized into three types. Those who believed that the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was beneficial and harmless. Others believed that the Bright Moon sect was too powerful and didn't dare to oppose them, so they had to go along with whatever they planned. Some others were completely clueless. Apart from these three types, a few others were just looking for trouble. After all, the doors of the Bright Moon sect had never been closed, and everyone could return to the Star Moon City every day. Why wait until now? As more and more people gathered, everyone could sense the presence of a greater force, and they all seemed to become a part of it. Everyone looked up at the highest seat, where all the brilliance seemed to converge. Footsteps sounded. "She's here," Wuxia said. In an instant, all eyes were focused on the girl wearing a white gown as she slowly walked towards the highest seat. Her face was filled with determination. There was no one beside her. Her master had told her that everyone was there to help and support her. When she finally succeeded, she would have to face everything alone anyway. She knew she couldn't be afraid. She must overcome her weaknesses. When she finally reached the highest seat, onlookers could finally see her clearly. At this moment, it seemed like she could understand the emotions of everyone below. Doubt, mockery, anger, disdain, admiration, envy, jealousy, joy, encouragement, nervousness, anticipation, and various others. All eyes were fixed on her. As she looked at the sea of faces, she felt nervous. She almost wanted to step back. But she took a step forward and stood at a spot where everyone could see her. At this point, she couldn't retreat. "Esteemed seniors and guests, I, Junior Chujia, greet you all," said Chujia. Her voice wasn't loud, but it could be heard clearly. People fell silent below. "I understand that all of you have heard the rumors. Today is the day when I am supposed to attain the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, and we need your help." She sounded grateful and determined. "My master once told me that this is an extremely difficult path. He said he would understand if I refused because once I set foot on this path, there's no turning back. Succeeding in this path would mean taking the responsibility of the world," she said. "I'm still young and inexperienced. I don't know about many things, but I know about my own merits and qualifications. My master told me that if I succeed today, it wouldn't be because of my qualifications or because of the Bright Moon sect. It would be only because of the help and support from all the guests and seniors gathered here today," said Chujia. "This is the path of the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. It means the blessing of heaven and earth and taking responsibility for the well-being of the whole cultivation world and the people within it. I understand that this path is incredibly difficult, but with the help of my sect, I stand here today. I only ask for one request from all of you." Chujia bowed respectfully. Her voice resonated throughout the entire Bright Moon sect. "Please, esteemed seniors, help me reach the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment." As her words fell, the entire Bright Moon sect was shaken. A great force formed and it began to rise around Chujia. Below, the multitude of people also felt the shock. Chujia's words gave them a clear understanding for the first time. Chuchuan breathed rapidly. He realized that the responsibility Chujia carried on her shoulders far exceeded his expectations. Chapter 443. I'm sorry. Jiang Hao could see the high platform and hear Chujia's voice clearly. He felt admiration for her. She's only 17 this year. At the age of 17, Jiang was still at the 8th stage of the lifeblood refinement realm. He was living cautiously in the spirit herb garden and avoiding contact with others. But this girl before him at 17 was preparing to attain the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. She was taking on the responsibility of all the people of the world. She was even prepared to stand alone. The level of self-awareness far exceeded that of others. The pursuit of the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was for those with great potential, and such individuals often had to sacrifice themselves for the sake of all living beings. For example, if the Heavenly Fate Misfortune Pearl exploded, Chujia would have to willingly go and suppress it. How many people could compare to such a formidable 17-year-old girl? 17, Hong Yuye said in amazement. Indeed, she's quite extraordinary. As they talked, a figure suddenly leaped up. He had a green light around him. It looked like an aura from the Earth Extreme Heart-Devouring Pearl. However, the moment he leaped, a blade swept past and cut him into shreds. He turned into ashes. The green light dissipated into the air. People nearby were terrified, but others hadn't even noticed anything. However, the Bright Moon sect disciples who had been observing everything were shocked. Is there a powerful expert helping us from the shadows? This caught them off guard. Whoever had attacked wasn't someone ordinary. How's it going on your end, senior brother? Subai walked over. It's stable for now. It seems a strong individual is helping us out in secret, which has helped a lot. However, those from the end of all things won't give up easily. The big problem now is that the Saint Bandits could appear at any moment. They might not stay idle once they're here. I don't know how long I can hold out against a senior from the Saint Bandits. A man sighed helplessly and looked at Su Bai. The other areas are up to you, junior brother. The fallen immortal clan isn't a major threat, but don't underestimate them. They're good at sneaking in. All right, senior brother, please be careful, Su Bai said. He quickly left to complete his task. Outside the Bright Moon sect, intruders began to infiltrate the area. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment had begun, and it was a crucial time for everyone. Boom. Suddenly, a light descended and was about to crush those below. Whoosh. A wave surged and then a figure appeared. His hair was disheveled and he held a wineskin in his hand. He appeared drunk. Si Ching? You know me? The person snorted and the battle erupted. The opponents seemed to want to disrupt the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment in the aftermath of the battle. At this moment, Jiang Hao on the Twin City Peak could vaguely feel the violent fluctuations of energy in the surrounding area. From his position he couldn't see the battle. He only occasionally caught glimpses of it. Power erupted and continuous explosions were apparent. It seemed that even a slight trace of that energy could severely injure him. Such a battle made him anxious. If it reached here, it would affect him too. The impact brought about by the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment far exceeded his expectations. He couldn't even get involved even though he was in the Soul Ascension realm. It was fortunate that many formidable seniors were around to lend a hand in the fight. What he needed to do now was wait for Chu Jie to seize the opportunity and advance to a higher realm. At this moment, Chu Jie closed her eyes, and her aura began to surge. She resonated with the force converging with the Bright Moon sect. Then, the force resonated with heaven and the earth. Then, she used the aura of everyone present to guide and absorb the surging force to form the essence of the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. In this way, she would ascend to become a Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment realm cultivator. The first step went smoothly. She was already resonating with the surging force and was beginning to resonate with the heavens and earth. Many people below watched her. They were nervous. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was obviously special. Now they had the chance to witness it firsthand. They also felt that if they assisted in this, they would gain some rewards. Chu Chuan stared intently at Chu Jie. He realized that the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment far exceeded his expectations. With great power came great responsibility. The two of them had chosen different paths, each with its own unique difficulties. Chu Jie's determination to choose this path was not something to be underestimated. Xiao Li and the Beast were also closely watching everything. Boom. The surging force began to move upward toward the heavens and earth. Boom. A bolt of lightning suddenly struck down and hit the converging force. With a bang, the entire surging force endured tremendous pressure. At the same time, Chu Jie trembled slightly, and blood oozed from the corner of her mouth. However, she did not stop what she was doing. Several more lightning strikes followed, and even Xiao Li had trouble standing. Then the heavens and earth began to glow radiantly. The surging force also changed with it. It was vast and boundless. However, several dark auras swept over. The dark auras began to destroy the surging force as if they didn't recognize the Heavenly Tao. The disciples of the Bright Moon sect frowned, but they weren't in a hurry to act. Chu Jie would have to overcome this on her own. As long as she maintained the aura of others, she could destroy these dark. If it really couldn't be done, they had a backup plan. On the high platform, Chu Jie's brows furrowed. She seemed to hear the voices of all living beings. What kind of Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment is this? Are you using our lives to help you build it? You're a demon. Kill this Demoness. Do you think ordinary people like us don't have a right to live? You took away our luck and our lifeblood for the sake of the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. How can we survive? What can we rely on? Please spare us. I'm begging on my knees. Don't pursue the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. We are all just ordinary people. Why do you want to hurt us? There was a massive flood. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment has taken away the protection of the immortals. My child is gone. Give my child back to me. There's a flood. Help. What kind of Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment is this? Does it have to deprive us of our cultivation? Why are you taking away our aura? On what grounds are you doing this? What do you represent? Give me back my father and my mother. Countless voices and numerous complaints rose over all other sounds. They aimed to shatter Chujie's resolve. Tears welled up in Chujie's eyes as she heard them all. She murmured, "Please, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. If it weren't for me, they wouldn't have come looking for you. They wouldn't have brought disasters upon you. Everything is because I wanted the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. Everything is because my determination has harmed you. All your lifelong suffering is my doing, and I won't deny it. I'm willing to shoulder your pain, but I can't give up now. They want to make me surrender, and I can't. Once I bow down, there will be no chance to stand up again. I'm sorry. They fear me, and I can't fall now. I'm sorry. My success is built upon your sacrifices. I'm sorry. Even if I succeed, I can't make it up to you. Please forgive me. The only thing I can guarantee is that if a great calamity strikes the heavens and earth, I will walk at the forefront without hesitation. I'll stand in front of you and block the danger. I won't retreat or perish. So, please lend me a helping hand. Please help me achieve the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment." Chapter 444, To See the World. Something had changed. Jiang Hao noticed could see numerous auras pouring in and becoming one with the surging force. There was a brilliant golden light and a blackness that corroded everything. Resentment and hatred seemed to be rapidly taking over the surging force, but the person in the center did not retreat. The surging force began to stabilize. If she took even one step back, everything might collapse. "Senior, were the words in the black mist a test?" Jiang Hao asked. Hong Yuye glanced at Jiang Hao. Her eyes seemed to ask if he was really so naive. "Does it need such a test?" Jiang Hao was amazed. "This is the force of heaven and earth, not just the collective power of the Eastern region. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment integrates the will of all beings in the world. The voice that came from the depths of that force is the voice of those from some corner of the world. No matter how powerful the Bright Moon sect is, they can't take care of everyone," Hong Yuye said calmly. "Did that mean the end of all things attacked ordinary people?" Jiang Hao lowered his head in thought. Louis had told them that the end of all things was spreading rumors everywhere. To make the rumors sound real, they might have harmed others. Even if someone figured out the rumors were false, they would be helpless. Not all people wanted the truth. They just wanted to vent their grievances. Even if they couldn't understand the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, it didn't matter. If the person trying to achieve the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment felt guilty and faltered, the Heavenly Tao would fall apart. Boom. Chu Jie soared into the sky and entered the surging force of heaven and earth. She was attempting to become one with the force. She needed to accept it first before absorbing it. At this moment, a lotus flower appeared under her feet, but half of it was eroded by darkness. Chu Jie sat cross-legged on it. Regardless of darkness or light, she accepted both. She didn't evade or retreat. Everyone watched, but the surging force of heaven and earth didn't seem very stable. "Why aren't they harnessing luck yet?" Jiang Hao asked. "You have to ask her that. Only after passing this test can she qualify to harness the luck that will help her integrate with the force of heaven and earth. Then she will successfully achieve the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment," Hong Yuye said. "Ask her?" Jiang Hao didn't know how to go about it. "Let's go take a look." Hong Yuye was also curious about this. None of those present had experienced the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment before, and they were curious and puzzled. With a flash of red light, Jiang Hao felt his own will entering the surging force of heaven and earth. Immediately after that, he entered a white light sphere. The surroundings instantly changed, and he was in front of a pavilion surrounded by immortal clouds. Two people were standing at the entrance. A slightly dark-skinned young girl and a middle-aged man. "From now on, this will be your residence. Do you like it?" the middle-aged man asked. My residence? It's so big," the young girl exclaimed in surprise. "It's not that big. Rest for a few days and I'll take you out for a walk," the middle-aged man said. "Go out for a walk? Didn't you say I need to cultivate?" the young girl asked in confusion. "Why are you in a hurry to cultivate?" "Senior sister Bai told me that as long as my cultivation realm is high enough, I can go find young master." The middle-aged man burst into laughter. "A high cultivation realm is not easy to achieve, so don't rush it. Enjoy your time for now." The young girl nodded. "How should I address you?" "They all call me Hao Yu, but for now you can call me senior uncle." "All right. My name is Chu Jia. Young master sometimes calls me Shao Jia. You can call me Shao Jia too, Chu Jia said. All right. I'll call you Shao Jia then. When the conversation ended, Jiang Hao noticed that the scene began to disappear. Next they were standing by a small stream. Chu Jia was excited as she stepped into the stream. Senior uncle, the water here is so cool. Young master used to take me to the stream to catch fish, but he often fell in. Is that so? Then you should be careful, Hao Yu said with a smile. Jiang Hao was puzzled and he turned to look at Hong Yuya. Is this a test too? Hong Yuya didn't respond. Jiang Hao had no choice but to continue watching. They played by the stream for a while and then Hao Yu led Chu Jia to a riverbank. Here the water began to deepen, but fortunately the current wasn't too strong. After some time Chu Jia arrived at the bank of a great river. The water surged and left Chu Jia in awe. After that they reached the coast and looked out at the sea. Chu Jia, who had never seen the sea before, was stunned. She had never realized that something could be so vast. In the next scene Chu Jia stood on the surface of the sea. She was surrounded by the ocean on all sides. There was nothing as far as the eye could see except for water. Then the water under her feet turned dark. Chu Jia cowered behind Hao Yu in fear. She was afraid of falling. Hao Yu smiled and flew into the sky with Chu Jia. As they flew over the boundless sea, Chu Jia was shocked. The surroundings changed again and they stood on a small pile of rocks. Is the sea beautiful? Asked Hao Yu. Yes, it's beautiful. Chu Jia nodded. Can I bring young master with me next time? Of course, Hao Yu said softly. Rest for 2 days and then we'll explore the mountains. After that, Jiang Hao and Hong Yuya saw Chu Jia play among the rocks, climb up the hills, weave through the small mountains, shout from the mountain peaks and gaze from the high summits. Finally, they witnessed the magnificent scenery among the mountains. Jiang Hao noticed that Chu Jia was gradually growing taller, and her skin was becoming fairer. She saw some animals in the forest. She even played with some mythical beasts and rode a powerful divine creature to the mountain peaks. Is it beautiful? Hao Yu asked with a smile as they came upon a city. Yes, it's so beautiful. It's so high and magnificent. Chu Jia exclaimed excitedly. Rest for 2 days and this time we'll meet the people. Hao Yu chuckled. Jiang Hao felt somewhat overwhelmed. He could see the light in Chu Jia's eyes. And after experiencing mountains, rivers, and landscapes, she had acquired a kind of grandeur. Jiang Hao was looking forward to the next thing. The scene shifted, and Chu Jia arrived in a small village where she lived for a month. She was very accustomed to the way of life there. They then moved to a place filled with refugees and survived on relief supplies. It was difficult to do anything other than survive. Later they went to a slum area where there was nothing except a place to shelter from the wind and rain, and they had to beg for their livelihood every day. Then they moved to a small town and started a business. 1 month later they moved to the city and met some wealthy families. Another month passed and they entered the imperial city. It was a grand place with numerous high-ranking officials and nobles. After witnessing their lives, Hao Yu led Chu Jia to stand on top of the imperial city. At night, they ascended into the sky and stayed among the stars. Shao Jia, look at the sky. What do you see? Hao Yu asked. Stars. Chu Jia said. Do you still remember the mountain and water you saw earlier? Hao Yu asked. I remember, said Chu Jia in excitement. Despite the hardships she had endured these past few months, she still yearned for distant places. Do you know what all those mountains, rivers, and landscapes add up to? Faced with Chu Jia's confusion, Hao Yu smiled. It's the world and its people. Chapter 445. 100,000 spirit stones are just pocket change. Jiang Hao listened to Master Hao Yu's words and was surprised. So, is this how the Bright Moon sect teaches its disciples? He was very curious. The Heavenly Note sect never taught anyone like this. Even their most talented disciples had never received such teachings. It's not suitable for everyone, but those who are suitable are usually extraordinary, said Hong Yuya calmly. Is this the test? Jiang Hao still couldn't see what the test actually was. Her inner conflict should be emerging soon, Hong Yuya said. The scene changed back to the small attic. This is for you. Master Hao Yu tossed a storage treasure to Chu Jia. There are 100,000 spirit stones here. 100,000 spirit stones? Chu Jia exclaimed. Isn't that a lot? Not much. Just enough to buy some tea leaves, Master Hao Yu said. If it's not enough, come and ask me for more. Jiang Hao was speechless. Okay, Chu Jie said joyfully. She placed half of the spirit stones in another storage treasure. What are you doing? Master Hao Yu asked curiously. Nothing. Chu Jie immediately put it away. The scene shook and returned to the small attic. This time Master Hao Yu looked serious. It seems that the situation has exceeded my expectations. What I showed you before was not enough. Now I need to show you something else. At this moment, Chu Jie was a graceful young woman. There was no trace of her previous self. It was as if she had completely transformed into a different person. She was puzzled. What do you want to show me this time, Master? Good and evil, Master Hao Yu said solemnly. This time it might confuse you. If you get it right, we will decide whether you can truly pursue the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. If you get it wrong, whether you like it or not, you will have to give up on the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. No matter how talented you are, it'll not be enough. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment cannot be achieved with talent alone. What is it? Chu Jie asked in confusion. Do you remember when I showed you the suffering of the world before? Master Hao Yu asked. Chu Jie nodded. I do. That was to broaden your horizons and lay the foundation for your state of mind. Your future success depends not on your talent for cultivation but on this. Master Hao Yu pointed to his heart. You can think of it as your state of mind and willpower. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment also requires these qualities. If you doubt yourself, you will fail instantly. Life will end and the path will disappear. So, this time you need to find the answer to good and evil. If you can't find it, focus on your cultivation and stop thinking about the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. If you find it, you need to think carefully. I will support you whether you choose to give up or persevere. Chu Jie nodded, but she didn't quite understand why she needed to find the answer to good and evil. Wasn't it straightforward? Jiang Hao was also curious about the answer. He saw things without a definitive concept of good and evil. If someone treated him well, they were good. If they treated him poorly, they were evil. However, he never harmed ordinary people just for the sake of it. The scene shifted, and Jiang Hao saw a person breaking into a house in the city to steal something. Is this act good or evil? Master Hao Yu asked. It seems wrong, so it's evil. Chu Jie hesitated. Should we stop them? Master Hao Yu asked. Of course. Chu Jie nodded. Master Hao Yu pointed at the scene and soon someone noticed the thief. The thief was beaten half to death and sent to jail. The scene shifted again. In a city suffering from a severe epidemic, a middle-aged doctor opened his doors to help others. Is he good or evil? Master Hao Yu asked. Definitely good, Chu Jie said. The scene shifted once more. This time, a group of bandits emerged from the forest, killed the guards, and stole medicine and some silver. Are they good or evil? Master Hao Yu asked again. Evil, Chu Jie said. Isn't this quite simple? Chu Jie thought. The scene changed once more. This time, a group of righteous individuals surrounded the bandits and killed them all. What about this? It should be good? Chu Jie was unsure. She doubted whether the master would throw such simple questions at her. All right. Let's start over. Master Hao Yu snapped his fingers and instantly they saw the entire city. At this point they saw a doctor who wasn't respected. He carried the medicine and threw it into a well. The next day many people began to feel ill. A few days later, a poor man with his dying daughter went to seek medical help everywhere, but no one dared to treat her upon hearing about the disease. That night, as he watched his daughter on the brink of death, he decided to take a risk and steal the medicine that could cure the disease. He went to a medicine hall and he was caught stealing. He was beaten half to death and thrown into jail. He never made it back to his daughter, who survived for 3 days but eventually died from hunger, not the illness. On the same day, the doctor who had poisoned the medicine in the medicine hall was highly regarded by everyone. In the prison, the man heard that relief was being sent from the capital, but the local lord secretly diverted it. After he was released, he looked at his daughter's lifeless body with great sadness. In the end, he gathered some people and took the relief that the local lord and his cronies intended to divert to another city and distributed it to the refugees. However, the lord and his group quickly realized what was happening. They assumed the man and his group of people were bandits and they were killed. After seeing all this, even Jiang Hao frowned. Chu Jie was even more shaken. The scene shifted once again. It went back to the beginning and showed someone stealing. Now is he good or evil? Should you warn the people inside that someone is stealing the medicine? Master Hao Yu asked Chujia. This time she remained silent. Let's look at something else. Master Hao Yu led Chujia to a farmer's home. They raised cattle and sheep. Suddenly, a wolf rushed in, snatched a sheep and was about to flee. Is this wolf good or evil? Evil? Should it be killed? Shouldn't it? Then kill it. The wolf died. The scene then showed a den of wolf pups. Some of them were still nursing. They were waiting for their mother to return. However, the mother wolf did not return. Several wolf cubs starved to death. Tell me, was killing the wolf an act of goodness? Master Hao Yu asked. Chujia hesitated. Then don't let it prey on the sheep. The wolf was isolated from the flock. Because it couldn't find food for a long time, it eventually starved to death, and some of the wolf cubs died while others survived by eating the mother wolf's flesh. But they still couldn't hunt any sheep and eventually starved to death. When you show kindness to the sheep, you show cruelty to the wolf. The same goes for humans. When you show kindness to one person, it might mean that someone else receives your cruelty. Master Hao Yu said to the young girl beside him. So, what is truly good? What is truly evil? Is what you do an act of good or evil? Chujia fell silent. Jiang Hao sensed that this was the test. Good and evil. If Chujia couldn't provide an answer that she felt confident in, she would fail the test. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment would also fail. But what is the answer to good and evil? In Jiang Hao's view, it was all about perspective. But was it enough for a person with great luck to just accept that? Chapter 446. This is my answer. Jiang Hao lowered his head. In his view, the concept of good and evil was elusive. Once you get caught in them, you would enter a whirlpool and lose yourself. Jiang Hao's answer to both choices presented by Master Hao Yu was to ignore it entirely. It didn't impact him in any way. However, Chujia was different. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment couldn't be a self-centered endeavor. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was the blessings from heaven and earth. If she could maintain a calm and rational state of mind, she would reach the peak of this path. She didn't have the luxury to detach herself from this dilemma. Do you have an answer? Hong Yuya asked. Jiang Hoa shook his head. No, because I never think about these things. Hong Yuya was silent. Jiang Hao looked at Chujia. He didn't know if she had the answer yet. The question troubled Chujia for a long time. She looked melancholic and she seemed unable to find joy in anything. It wasn't until she grew up into a young woman that she went to see Master Hao Yu. Do you have an answer now? Master Hao Yu asked. Master, I want to pursue the foundation establishment, Chujia said solemnly. A regular foundation establishment realm? Master Hao Yu asked. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. Master Hao Yu frowned. That's not the answer I was hoping for. But it's the answer the sect wants, Chujia said. The sect? Master Hao Yu chuckled. Who am I? The sect master? Chujia said. Yes, I am the head of the Bright Moon sect and the sect follows my will. So, you don't have to be influenced by others, Master Hao Yu said firmly. But I still want to pursue the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, Chujia said. Do you know what your decision will bring? Master Hao Yu asked. Some of my seniors in the sect will die on the day I pursue this path. The eastern, western, southern, and northern regions and even farther places will suffer hardships because of my decision, Chujia said. Master Hao Yu was shocked. Who told you that? Chujia shook her head. I thought of it myself. If someone supports the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, there will definitely be others who oppose it. If someone benefits from it, there will be someone who suffers because of it. It's what you taught me. When one receives goodwill, someone else receives cruelty. If the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment is considered good, then evil will occur somewhere. Master Hao Yu looked at his disciple. He felt that her aptitude was much higher than he had initially thought. Do you still want to pursue the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment? I do. Do you understand what is good and what is evil? Chujia lowered her head and said softly, I don't. After a moment of silence, she looked up at her master. Good and evil are definitions created by others. How can someone like me understand it? Then what is your answer? Master Hao Yu asked. At this moment, Chujia began to integrate with everything in the world. Her lips moved as though she was saying something. There is no good and there is no evil. There are only consequences that one bears for making decisions. Everything shook and Chu Jie's aura was everywhere. Jiang Hao also started to withdraw from that place, but Chu Jie's voice still echoed in his ears. If they consider me good, I will continue to stay in the sect and become a good person. If they consider me evil, I'll go to a demonic sect and become an evil person. They can define me by their assumption, but my path will never change. The path I choose and my will remains unchanged. This is my answer. At this moment, a light shone and became one with Chu Jie. As Jiang Hao withdrew, he saw mountains, rivers, starry skies, and the vast sea. Withstanding such power was far from what he had imagined. Moreover, he felt as if a dark force was enveloping everything around him, and countless voices were ringing in his ear, like the whispers of darkness. Why? Why do I have to suffer? Why must you harm me? You'll be fine, but what about me? What about me? Your goodness is built on our corpses. Jiang Hao withdrew and looked at the darkness. He lowered his head in silence. The ones who had inflicted suffering were the end of all things, but the one bearing the burden of responsibility for all the pain inflicted was the one pursuing the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. At this moment he felt something surging within him. It's starting to draw upon your luck. As long as your luck doesn't encounter any issues, you can guide the power into your spirit and help establish the Foundation establishment realm, said Hing Yuya. Jiang Hao stared ahead. He knew the moment had come. Success or failure hinged on this one action. At this point, the surging power was moving toward Chu Jie's body. She was already beginning to establish the Foundation establishment realm, and the Heavenly Tao was her spirit. Everyone present could feel that they were helping her build the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. Once they faltered, it would affect the progress of it. Jiang Hao didn't dare to leave from here. His luck seemed to be good and had a significant effect. As he paid attention to his surroundings, she saw the sky changing. The clouds began to surge. A faint laughter echoed somewhere. Haha, this foundation building is truly unprecedented. It's a pity to give it to a little girl. Give it to me instead. From the sky, a pale hand shrouded in clouds reached out toward Chu Jie. Such a strength made Jiang Hao's heart race. This kind of formidable expert was not someone he could contend with. He glanced at Hong Yuye and realized that she had no intention of intervening. You want this? What a joke. Who do you think you are? A figure from beneath the bright moon sect soared into the sky. A powerful force clashed with the hand in the sky. With a loud bang, the hand retreated, and the person who had acted revealed themselves. It was a young man who appeared to be around 26 years old. What shocked Jiang Hao wasn't the appearance, but rather the feeling he got from that person. A brat like you thinks he can stop me? A voice echoed from high above. You little scum. The young man sneered. Me? Ah, you really dare to say such things to me? Courage? You flatter me. I just don't have the time. What are you worth anyway? Young and arrogant. Let's see if you can survive to say such things again. At this moment, mist covered the area, and a tremendous power surged in the sky as if the two were engaged in a fierce battle. Jiang Hao looked at the sea of mist and felt it to be somewhat familiar. However, he was more concerned about how long the young man could hold out. It was apparent that the young man was at a disadvantage. With the appearance of the hand, several powerful forces began to converge around the Bright Moon sect. However, strong individuals from the Bright Moon sect confronted each of them. Jiang Hao was powerless in the face of all this. If Chu Jie could successfully achieve her Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, the strong individuals helping her would be free to fight. Then everything would be resolved easily. Chu Jie frowned. The darkness in the surging power was affecting her progress. It seems that the influence of the end of all things is significant. I need to help her. Hong Yuye turned to look at Jiang Hao. I'm not sure my strength is enough, Jiang Hao said. Activate your cultivation technique, Hong Yuye instructed. Jiang Hao didn't hesitate. He activated the 100 revolutions of Heavenly Note. Hong Yuye still stared at him without doing anything. Jiang Hao didn't say anything. He circulated the Hong Meng Heart Sutra. In an instant, purple energy enveloped him. Only then did Hong Yuye reach out and grab his hand. Chapter 447, The Purple Aura from the East. To the south of the Bright Moon sect, some intruders turned into puddles of blood and died on the spot, while others struggled. I already wrote on a paper and pasted it outside. It informs everyone that this place is dangerous. Why didn't you believe it? Baiju sat on a tree branch and looked very sheepish. One really didn't want any conflict with you. The people stared at the woman in front of them. They hadn't expected that what was written and pasted outside was true to this extent. As soon as they entered the encirclement, they fell under a curse. They were unable to guard against it. They opened their mouths as if to say something but couldn't utter a word. Baiju sighed in helplessness. There were people who came in here before you. Fortunately, they were not very strong. Then she looked up in the direction of the Bright Moon sect, where mist covered the area. The power inside was formidable. Even she dared not approach it because she might end up dead. The impact brought about by the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was astonishing. Now that she was here, there would be some benefits if she could help them succeed. These benefits couldn't be sensed or touched, but they would manifest in the future. I wonder if she will succeed. Baiju looked at the girl amid the immense power. How can such a young girl accommodate a power like this? She could even sense the curses within that power. Indeed, many people wished for the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment of the Bright Moon sect to fail. Even if she succeeds, it'll be too difficult for her. Baiju sighed. She had no choice but to guard this place as best as she could. This was the only way she could help. To the east of the Bright Moon sect, Subai killed someone, but he didn't feel any joy. Instead, he felt that something was wrong. There are fewer people. He immediately sent someone to check. Soon, a woman flew over to him. Senior brother, I found out that they split up. Some of them might have gone north. North? Subai was surprised. Where? Maybe the Twin City Peak, said the woman. Subai didn't hesitate. Leave some of our people here. As for the others, come with me. Soon they arrived at Twin City Peak and tried to track down the people. Soon, Subai and the others were surprised when they found some people on the ground knocked unconscious. A young man used his magic tool to investigate. They are unconscious. Subai and the others examined the people and found out that they were indeed from the fallen immortal clan. They had a map in their hands which showed the route they wanted to take to infiltrate the sect. Who could have done this? Asked a woman who was inspecting the surroundings. It feels like they were walking and suddenly passed out. They might not know what might have happened to them even if they wake up. At this moment, one of the people woke up in a daze. What happened? He was confused that he and his group had been captured by the Bright Moon sect. Subai looked at Twin City Peak in amazement. The method used was quite sophisticated. Let's go back, he said. The others also didn't say much. They felt that there were powerful experts involved in this. Boom. Suddenly there was an explosion in the sky. They saw that the surging power seemed somewhat unstable. It seems junior sister Chujie's progress is slowing down. Is it because there are too many dark auras? Someone asked. Is there no way to dispel them? Subai fell silent. That depended on the seniors. The only thing they could do was control the situation outside and let the people inside do what they had to. However, just as they were about to leave, Twin City Peak began to shake. Several people turned to look and saw a purple light soaring into the sky. It radiated an immense purple aura in all directions. Everyone was shocked. They couldn't understand what was happening. Subai looked at the purple aura in astonishment. At this moment, inside the Bright Moon sect, some of the elders were assisting in stabilizing the surging power, but the darkness was becoming worse. They were uncertain what the final outcome would be. We can't wait any longer. We need to get Shang'an from the Clear Sky School. We need him to use his sage's heart to help guide the surging force. Tell them we are ready to pay any price they want, said someone. Others shared the same thought. At this moment, the person behind them moved to execute the plan. However, just at that moment, a streak of purple light shot into the sky. The purple aura caused a commotion in heaven and earth. Everyone was astonished. They didn't understand what it was. Then the direction of the surging force changed. The purple aura that should have been in the north seemed to shift to the east. The purple aura became even brighter. It was a purple energy from the east. Several people who were sitting cross-legged suddenly stood up with a gasp. They stared at the purple aura in disbelief. Purple energy from the east, the auspicious sign of heaven and earth. What kind of person is willing to do this? Such aura, such courage. The appearance of the purple aura startled everyone. Even Wang Xiu and Si Qing were shaken. The uniqueness of the purple aura and the strength of its presence left them momentarily stunned. What kind of expert was this? As far as they knew, apart from the Bright Moon sect and a very few strong individuals, there were only 2 individuals who seemed mysterious around here. In a moment of daze, Si Qing recalled Jiang Hao. "You've really helped us a lot," Si Qing said with a smile and raised his wineskin. At this point, the purple aura entered the surging force and swept the darkness away. With the addition of the purple aura, the mysterious hand began to retreat. It no longer dared to interfere. Both the surging force and the purple aura were extraordinary. Touching one of them was risky, let alone facing both. That would be like willingly seeking destruction. What an impressive person. You have the purple aura, yet you are willingly playing a supporting role. At this moment there was only the young man left in the sky. He was covered in blood, but he managed to hold his ground. The appearance of the purple aura caught everyone by surprise. However, they all understood one thing. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was about to succeed. With the addition of the purple aura, the darkness began to recede. It didn't disappear entirely but was soon overwhelmed by the other auras. The golden light began to emerge once again. Voices emerged along with it. "Are you confused? Those evil people harmed you. What does it have to do with the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment? Can't you see? They are afraid of it. Right now you are helping the oppressors. People can't be brought back to life. These people are clearly afraid of the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, and they don't want it to happen. That's why I'm going to support you. Wake up, will you? The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment is the way of the heavens. It's the heavens themselves. If they wanted to harm us, why would they go to such trouble? We have been suffering here for many years. If you need it, I can trade my life for one good deed." The voices sounded in Chu Jie's ears. She relaxed. "Thank you." At this moment, the lotus that had been covered by the darkness began to shine brightly. As the darkness receded, a golden light emerged. Guided by the purple aura, the surging force entered Chu Jie and transformed into the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. When the entire power was completely absorbed, Chu Jie opened her eyes. The aura of the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment appeared, and her body was surrounded by a rainbow. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was a success. Chapter 448, Appraising the Demoness. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was a success. The entire Bright Moon sect seemed to relax. At this moment, a middle-aged man walked to the spot where the hand had disappeared in the sky earlier. He tore open a crack with his bare hands and sneered. "You want to leave just like that?" Then the man entered the crack. Roars and explosions could be heard from within it. Powerful members of the Bright Moon sect also went to join various fights. Strong individuals emerged from various parts of the Bright Moon sect. They headed toward the rear. "Today, none of you will leave alive from here. We, in the Bright Moon sect, value peace, but it seems you don't appreciate it." The enemies wanted to flee, but unfortunately, they had already lost their escape route. When they tried to break through forcefully, it turned disastrous. The Bright Moon sect came upon them like thunder. Apart from the ones who had left quickly, there was really no way for them to escape. Jiang Hao was quite shocked. The Bright Moon sect was indeed powerful. It was apparent how difficult it had been to establish the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. Except for the Bright Moon sect, the Clear Sky School and other immortal sects, no other sect could even hope to achieve the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. At the same time, a middle-aged man stood at the top of the Bright Moon sect and bowed toward Twin City Peak. "I am Hao Yu and I thank you for assisting us in this time of need. May I have the honor to meet you?" Jiang Hao could sense that the sect master was waiting for his response. "Do you want to meet him?" Hong Yuye looked at him. "It's better not to meet him right now," Jiang Hao said. His cultivation was too weak. He shouldn't be seen getting involved with too many powerful people for now. It might attract unnecessary danger. The reason why the purple energy had such a great impact was because of Hong Yuye's help. Without her he couldn't have done anything. "Let's go then." Hong Yuye turned and left. Jiang Hao followed her. In the blink of an eye they disappeared from their spot. Hao Yu didn't receive a response and knew that the person had probably left. He felt a little regretful. Under Twin City Peak, Su Bai and others watched the purple energy soaring into the sky. They were moved. However, they didn't linger for long and quickly left. After they left, 2 people landed on Twin City Peak. One gelled a wineskin and the other looked a bit tired. They were Si Qing and Wan Xiu. As expected, they already left. Wuxia said. He wasn't surprised. Xiqing sighed. I want to see their true power someday. Do you think we can win if we join forces against friend Jiang? Wuxia asked. It's hard to say. We haven't fought him. Xiqing shook his head. It seems that trying to make friend Jiang remember the other lines of the poem is hopeless. Wuxia sighed. Xiqing drank the wine and sighed. Yes, it seems hopeless. Jiang Hao was unaware that someone was still thinking about him. He returned to Star Moon City. He was curious about the impact of achieving the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. You'll know in a few days, Hong Yuye said. Can the southern region sense it too? Jiang Hao asked. Hong Yuye smiled. You'll find out when you go back. Jiang Hao didn't press for more information and instead asked about their next step. However, Hong Yuye remained silent. Jiang Hao understood that he would have to figure it out on his own. The Bright Moon Sect's Tao conference was still ongoing, so there was no rush to return to his own sect. There was still a month left until the end of the sect's mission. During this month, he had to complete the remaining tasks to avoid passing the deadline. He also needed to make a decision regarding Qi Tian's matter and whether to have Xing make a move. As far as he knew, Qi Tian was indeed of value. But he wasn't sure if his senior brother would intervene right now because that would prevent him from going overseas to return to the end of all things. However, it wasn't a problem to make Xing take action against the elder. Hong Yuye's intervention had already laid the groundwork for his achievement, and killing one person shouldn't be too difficult. Moreover, the people at the gathering knew that he was on Twin City Peak, which meant that they would have a deeper impression of him as mysterious and powerful. It should keep him safe for the time being and prevent anyone from probing further. I should have a gathering in a few days to find out the situation with Qi Tian, Jiang Hao thought to himself. With these thoughts in mind, Jiang Hao strolled around the city with Hong Yuye. Along the way they saw some small animals scampering about. Have you completed your studies of the one-heart palm? She suddenly asked. After a brief moment of confusion, Jiang Hao nodded. More or less. During these days he had been studying various spells including the one-heart palm. Have you tried it? Hong Yuye looked at the animals nearby. Jiang Hao hesitated for a moment. He had indeed tried it out of curiosity, but he didn't want to tell her. No, he said slowly. Hong Yuye smiled and looked at him. Aren't you curious to find out if the one-heart palm works on others? It would be too offensive to use it that way, Jiang Hao said. He didn't want to try it on anyone whether they were male or female. It would bring him trouble. What about animals? Hong Yuye glanced at the nearby animals. She looked forward to a good show. Senior, you must be joking, Jiang Hao said. Hong Yuye chuckled. Is that so? She didn't press him further and instead headed toward the inn. In the inn, Hong Yuye sat at a table while Jiang Hao brewed some tea. After that, she asked him to prepare the bath for her. When Jiang Hao had finished preparing the bath water, he approached Hong Yuye. However, just as he was about to speak, he noticed that Hong Yuye was resting her head on her hand as if she were about to fall asleep. Senior, he called out softly. There was no response. He walked up to her and waved his hand in front of her. Senior? There was still no response. He instinctively looked at her chest, which was rising and falling. It indicated that she was only asleep and not dead. However, for some reason he sensed that she was still able to conceal everything from him. He couldn't sense an aura or even life force from her. He could only rely on his eyes to observe her. Jiang Hao sat down and drank his tea. He didn't know what else to do. He could only sit beside her. He didn't dare to shake her awake. This wasn't the first time it had happened anyway. He wasn't surprised. If he got too close to her, she would wake up. Jiang Hao sipped his tea and wondered if he could discover more about Hong Yuye when her defenses were down this way. He didn't dare to try to appraise her when she was awake because she would notice it. But now she was soundly asleep. He could use his daily appraisal ability without getting too close to her. He appraised her. Looking at the information provided by the ability, Jiang Hao was even more puzzled. In previous appraisals he had never been able to find out so much. This time he did get some feedback, but many things were lacking. Her origin and her purpose weren't mentioned. He couldn't determine if her reduced defenses were due to her drowsy state, or if it was because his cultivation had grown stronger. Chapter 449, Did you throw your caution to the wind? Jiang Hao looked at the woman in front of him with some confusion. He couldn't leave. but she had told him to prepare the bath for her. He had no choice but to wait. It wasn't surprising. At this moment he used his techniques to maintain the temperature of the bathwater, so it would be ready when Hong Yuya finally woke up. However, the flower petals inside might bloom earlier than expected. If she didn't use the bath, it would be a waste of 1,000 spirit stones. This time he had used the silver flower petals. 1,000 of them. Junior brother Han has reached the peak of the Foundation establishment realm. It's been 2 years. I should try to advance too. He still had more than a year left before Han Ming returned, so there was no need to rush. Advancing now would be too noticeable. But once Han Ming returned, things would be different. After noticing Han Ming's progress, people wouldn't see his progress. Moreover, there was the Blood Wish path to protect him. This way most people wouldn't pay too much attention to him. After all, he was just a Foundation establishment realm cultivator. As long as he stayed in the Spirit Herb Garden, no one would cause trouble. Those with lower cultivation realms wouldn't dare to come there, and those with higher cultivation realms had no reason to pay attention to him. The Candlelight Pill Pavilion and the Hindered Bones Forest wouldn't bother him again. As for other matters, it only remained to be seen. But no matter what trouble might come, they would be something along the lines of the Golden Core Realm or the Primordial Spirit Realm. All of this was within his capabilities. He took out a book and started reading. It was the Nameless Manual. After a while, Jiang Hao looked outside. The sky had turned dark, the moon was bright, and the stars sparkled in the night. The night seems more beautiful than before. He put down the book and looked at Hong Yuya. She was still asleep with her chin on her hands. He wondered if her hands were sore. Any normal person would have laid their head on the table to rest after a while. Her head was propped up on her hands for so long. It almost looked like she was only pretending to be asleep. When he saw Hong Yuya sleeping so soundly, he had the urge to use the heart palm on her. But he dismissed that thought. Luck only helped so far. Oftentimes he could endure her attack and still survive because she didn't intend to kill him. Doing something foolish like that would be terrifying. The person in front of him was not an ordinary cultivator. She was someone who could make strong individuals in the Bright Moon sect take her seriously. Testing her patience would be suicidal for someone like him. In the middle of the night, he noticed that there was a surge of spiritual energy coming from the direction of the Bright Moon sect. It indicated that a strong cultivator was teaching the disciples there. This was considered a fortunate event for many people, and he also wanted to go and listen to the lecture. Unfortunately, he couldn't leave at the moment. Inside the Bright Moon sect, Master Haoyu was giving a lecture. People of all cultivation realms could learn something from this lecture. It was easier for those below to comprehend the teachings, especially under the radiant light of the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. Some were delighted and some were worried. Ku Wu Chang looked at Xiao Li, who had fallen asleep and sighed in helplessness. He understood that the lecture wasn't boring. Xiao Li simply couldn't pay attention enough to listen to it. He had given her trying to make her listen. Chu Chuan, on the other hand, listened intently. He felt that he had learned a lot from this lecture. But what shocked him even more was Chu Jie's advancement to the middle stage of the Foundation establishment realm. Many were in disbelief. Chu Chuan felt that his own progress was still too slow. He needed to consult Lord Beast and his senior brother when he returned to the sect. He needed to find his own path, which might be arduous. However, he couldn't back down. "Those are mine. Don't steal my meat, Beast," Xiao Li mumbled in her sleep. Many people heard her. For a moment, everyone from the Heavenly Note sect was on their guard. Ku Wu Chang felt awkward. This was still okay among his fellow sect members because they were used to it. However, with so many powerful people around, what would they think of their sect when they heard this? The Tao conference was still ongoing. The next morning, Jiang Hao closed the book. He had spent the whole night studying and had learned a lot of things. As he delved deeper into it, progress became increasingly difficult. It would take some time to reap the full benefits. At that time, he would observe more, control his power better, and enhance his perception. By then, the world would be truly extraordinary from his point of view. His danger perception ability would also become stronger, as would his ability to conceal his cultivation. When he raised his head to check if Hong Yuya was still asleep, he found that she had disappeared. Then he heard the sound of water splashing in the tub. Quickly, he turned and saw a person pouring water over her shoulder behind the folding screen. He was at the side, so the screen didn't cover her fully. He could see her shoulders. It seemed that she had felt his gaze because she turned to look at him. Their eyes met. Jiang Hao was speechless. Bang. Jiang Hao struggled to get up and sat with his back facing the folding screen this time. Did you throw caution to the wind? Hong Yuya asked. Jiang Hao sighed. Senior, you misunderstood. I was just concerned that someone might be in your bath. Jiang Hao was surprised that he had been so focused on the book that he hadn't noticed Hong Yuya getting up and going for a bath. It made sense. Her power was far superior to his own. Sometimes it was impossible for him to sense her. The stone tablet vibrated. There was a gathering tonight. It seemed that Xing was ready to pay their reward. He also needed to go see Qi Tian. He could use this opportunity to see how determined Qi Tian really was and prepare for tonight. After informing Hong Yuya of his plans, he left after she finished her bath. Before leaving, he brewed some tea. At noon, Jiang Hao arrived at a guest house. It was Qi Tian's residence. Jiang Hao had long known about Qi Tian's whereabouts. Otherwise, how could he have kept an eye on him? However, when he entered, he smelled blood. Qi Tian was injured on his chest. You're injured? Jiang Hao asked. Startled by the sudden voice, Qi Tian prepared to defend himself. When he saw that it was Jiang Hao, he breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that my enemy sensed something and sent someone to kill me, Qi Tian said. Jiang Hao nodded. He appraised Qi Tian. Jiang Hao looked at the feedback from the divine ability and realized that there was use for Qi Tian after all. He didn't know how long Qi Tian would remain true to his goal. Are you planning to leave? Jiang Hao asked. Yes, our sect doesn't plan to stay any longer. We've obtained everything we needed and will be leaving in a few days, Qi Tian said weakly. Jiang Hao tossed him a healing talisman to help alleviate his pain. Are you prepared to go to the end of all things? I'm ready and I'm willing to do anything it takes, said Qi Tian eagerly. In that case, wait for my message, Jiang Hao said. He then left. How will I contact you when I reach the end of all things? Qi Tian asked. Just wait for me to contact you, Jiang Hao said before disappearing from Qi Tian's sight. Chapter 450. How do you prove you didn't steal it? At midnight, Jiang Hao sat in his room and looked at the stone tablet. Then he entered it. The stone tablet had turned out far more useful than he had anticipated. However, finding the owner behind the stone tablet was challenging. But he wasn't in a hurry because he knew that the owner must be incredibly powerful. He was relatively weak. Finding them might even lead to his death. He needed to wait for the right time. He needed to wait until he could stand a chance against them. Time was running short. But he had to make arrangements with Hong Yuya. Qi Tian was part of that arrangement. After that, he could continue to delay for some time, during which he could focus on getting stronger. In the public forum, Jiang Hao took his seat. This gathering was likely to catch up with the recent developments, especially considering the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. As soon as he arrived, he felt the gaze of others on him. It seemed like they wanted to ask him something. Please don't look at me. Don't ask me anything. I can't answer your questions. Jiang Hao sighed inwardly. Because Hong Yuya had intervened this time, it had left Gui and Xing in awe. Although he had succeeded in establishing himself as a mysterious and powerful figure here, he knew nothing much. Lu looked puzzled. It seemed like something significant had happened, but he didn't rush to ask the others. The four of them greeted Dan Yuan and then sat down. Since the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment has been a success, you will feel the changes. Be vigilant, Dan Yuan said. What do we need to be vigilant about? Gui asked. This was good news for everyone. Jiang Hao was surprised. The fact that this affected the Heavenly Fate Misfortune Pearl was intriguing. You would need to check it out later. This time the Saint Bandits made a move. You need to be cautious of them. The previous mission is still in effect, and any information regarding the Saint Bandits should be reported to me, Dan Yuan said. Then it was Xing's turn to reward them for their help. I need something cursed. The stronger the better. Anything will do, Gui said. All right. I can provide it to you in a few days. Xing readily agreed. Then he looked at Jiang Hao. Gui also turned to look at him. The atmosphere seemed to change and Lu couldn't help but ask, has something major happened? Dan Yuan smiled. I heard that during the process of achieving the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, the end of all things influenced the cultivators with negative rumors. At a critical moment when the Bright Moon sect was facing difficulties, purple energy suddenly emerged and swept the dark auras away. That was why it was a success. Lu understood what Dan Yuan implied. Xing had informed them that the heavenly fate misfortune pearl hadn't erupted before because of the same purple energy. It was probably Jing's doing. After that, Jing informed them that he had given the pearl to a cultivator in the demonic sect. Jing had become mysterious and unpredictable. "What do you need, friend Jing?" Xing asked earnestly. "I will make sure you are satisfied." "Help me severely injure someone," Jiang Hao said. "Severely injure someone?" This puzzled Xing. "Who is it?" "Qin Yi of the Blood Shadow sect. After injuring him, it would be great if you could hand him over to Qi Tian of the Blood Shadow sect," Jiang Hao said. Xing nodded in agreement. Then Lu brought up the matter of the small island. "I investigated and found out that the members of the End of All Things were looking for a great evil on the small island. I think they were searching for the Earth Extreme Silent Pearl, but I don't think they succeeded." After discussing a few more matters, the gathering came to an end. Since it was an impromptu gathering, they didn't have much to discuss. After leaving from there, Jiang Hao breathed a sigh of relief. Now he just needed to wait. Everything that needed to be done had been done. The matter was over and he didn't need to worry about it for a while. Back at the sect, he could finally focus on his sect duties. If the sect wasn't causing any trouble, he could concentrate on growing spirit herbs and accumulating spirit stones. The holy medicine seed would likely be a helpful aid. 3 days later, outside Star Moon City, Qi Tian walked along the road with a pale face. They were about to return. There was nothing left for them to do here. However, he was somewhat unwilling to leave. That person hadn't shown up. Moreover, he would likely die at the hands of Elder Qin Yi of the Blood Shadow sect on the way back. It seemed Elder Qin Yi no longer wanted to keep him around. The gap in their cultivation realms was too vast. Any defense from his side was meaningless. With his golden core realm cultivation, he couldn't do anything. Now he couldn't even escape. He had missed the opportunity. He didn't want to run away. If that person was willing to make a move, he could finally have his revenge. If he escaped, he would be giving up on his hope. Toward revenge. Suddenly the group stopped. Qi Tian was puzzled. "Qi Tian," someone called his name. It was a middle-aged man with white hair. Despite his age, he had a powerful aura. "Elder Qin," Qi Tian said respectfully. "Do you know what you did wrong?" Elder Qin asked. Qi Tian was bewildered. "Elder, I don't know what you mean. I heard that you were seriously injured. Is this true?" Elder Qin asked. "Yes." Qi Tian nodded. "And you've almost recovered?" Elder Qin asked again. "Yes, after proper rest and recovery I should return to full health soon," Qi Tian said. "Proper rest and recovery?" Elder Qin sneered. "I heard that someone in our sect lost a healing pill. Did you steal it?" "How could that be?" Qi Tian was astonished. "I have never done something like that." "Are you saying it wasn't you?" "I told you before that I had a healing pill. It was with me until you got injured," said a woman furiously. "I used all my savings to buy it. This is too much." "No." Qi Tian looked at the crowd, pointing fingers at him. "Please, Elder, I implore you to investigate this matter." "I don't believe you took it either," Elder Qin said with a heavy heart. "You are someone I watched enter and grow within our sect. I know what kind of person you used to be, but people change. Especially when faced with death, it's understandable that one would take desperate measures and go down the wrong path. If you didn't steal it, then prove yourself." "Yes, prove it," someone nearby said. "But how can I prove it?" Qi Tian asked through gritted teeth. "You see? You can't even prove your innocence, and yet you claim you didn't steal it?" The angry woman said once again. "Then do you have any proof that I stole it?" Qi Tian asked furiously. "You ask me to find evidence and yet claim you didn't steal it?" said the woman. "If you didn't steal it, why are you so nervous?" Qi Tian was momentarily speechless. At this moment, Elder Qin said in a low voice, "Qi Tian, it seems I can't help you. If you really did steal it, then I'll have to represent the sect in punishing you." Elder Qin, Qi Tian realized that they intended to kill him here. He would die whether he stole the pill or not. Qi Tian felt despair when faced with the immense power of the elder. He hadn't even taken his revenge yet, and now it seemed like he never would. Suddenly, a voice called from behind them. "Excuse me, which one of you is Elder Qin Yi?" Chapter 451. It's time for a poem. A voice from behind caught everyone by surprise. Elder Qinyi looked across and saw a man standing there. He appeared unremarkable at first glance, but for some reason he felt that something was wrong. The man's demeanor and presence should not have been so ordinary when his aura was so powerful. "Who are you, fellow disciple?" Elder Qinyi asked with a courteous bow. "I've been entrusted with a task by someone to come here and do what I have to," said the man. "May I know who entrusted you with this task and what you're here to do?" Elder Qinyi asked. He sensed danger, especially in the man's vast aura, which seemed like that of a giant. After a moment of thought, the man said something that astonished everyone. "I've come to take your life. How dare you?" Elder Qinyi's aura erupted as he struck out with his palm. Boom. The palm dissolved, but Elder Qinyi had already vanished into the sky. He fled. Elder Qinyi was uneasy. He feared that this person might be unbeatable. The crowd below was bewildered. Some were unsure of what to do. Qi Tian had a guess, but he wasn't very sure of the event happening here. Rumble. The power in the sky rumbled. After that, everything began to calm. Elder Qinyi crashed heavily to the ground. His body was battered by the destructive force. He couldn't even move a muscle. The man descended from above. He looked calm and composed. "Are you Qi Tian?" He suddenly looked at Qi Tian in the crowd. "Yes. Yes, I am," Qi Tian said. He didn't dare be disrespectful. "He's yours now. You know what to do, right?" the man said. Qi Tian nodded. "I understand." He then approached Elder Qinyi, drew a long knife, and thrust it down under the gazes of the group. Elder Qinyi was shocked. "Do you think I wouldn't do it? You dare to look at me like that?" Qi Tian scowled as he produced a dagger and stabbed it into the elder's neck. "Do you know how long I've been waiting for this day?" He kept stabbing at Elder Qinyi's neck. "When you slaughtered my wife and my children, did you ever think this day would come? Did you think your profound cultivation could save you from my hatred? Did you believe you could do whatever you want?" The knife went in and out of Elder Qinyi's neck, and the shadow of death filled him with terror. No one dared to come to his rescue. He was stabbed repeatedly until he finally perished. Qi Tian was covered in blood. He looked at the woman from earlier. "The pill?" he asked. What pill?" the woman stammered. The powerful man hadn't left yet, so they dared not behave rashly. "The healing pill," Qi Tian said. "It's here," she said as she took out a small bottle. Qi Tian took the bottle and stared across at the woman. "Did I steal it?" "I know." The woman shook her head. "Now it's mine. Tell me, did I snatch it from you?" Qi Tian asked again. "I know," the woman said fearfully. I gave it to you. You didn't snatch it." Qi Tian slapped her and left. Once Qi Tian left, the powerful man also disappeared from the scene. Jiang Hao was wandering around outside. He was thinking about whether he should sell the heaven rejuvenation pills he had on him. Currently he had a decent amount of spirit stones. He had a total of almost 35,000 spirit stones. Selling the pills could fetch him even more, although the prices here were somewhat lower. Near the Heavenly Note sect, he could sell them for 7,000 to 8,000 each, but here it was common to find them at 4,000 or 5,000. Occasionally the prices were lower. After considering it for a while, he decided not to sell them and kept them for now. If necessary, he could sell them later. After some thought, he spent 3,000 spirit stones to purchase a heavenly return pill. Even at that price, he could still make a decent profit back at the Heavenly Note sect. He continued to walk through the market and came across some collars. "How much for the primordial spirit collar?" Jiang Hao asked. 5,000 spirit stones, the middle-aged vendor said. "What about the golden core one?" Jiang Hao asked. 2,500, the vendor said. Jiang Hao nodded. It was cheaper than at the Heavenly Note sect, and the quality shouldn't be much different. However, 5,000 for a primordial spirit collar was a bit expensive. He hesitated and then prepared to leave. The vendor called him back. "Wait a moment. Friend, are you really interested in buying this? Can you offer a lower price?" Jiang Hao asked. "It depends on which one you want." "The primordial spirit collar. I'll give you a discount of 200. I guarantee you won't find a better price on this street." "Is that true?" "You can take a stroll and see for yourself, but I can't guarantee that this piece won't be sold out in the meantime. After all, it's the last one." Jiang Hao frowned. After several exchanges, he managed to purchase the primordial spirit collar for 4,500 spirit stones. Later, he saw several other collars but didn't bother to ask about their prices. Once he bought something, he preferred not to know the price of other things afterward. A primordial spirit collar for 4,400 spirit stones? Are you kidding me? Wait. Don't go. I'll sell it to you. It seemed that someone had successfully negotiated a lower price. Jiang Hao was speechless. Today he had lost another 100 spirit stones. After that, Jiang Hao stopped at a dessert stall. He ordered a regular pastry and sealed it with his palm-sized spatial seal. He made sure he had everything he needed. With his preparations complete, he left the market and found two people blocking his way. It was Wan Xiao and Si Qing once again. After a short while, the three of them sat in a noisy inn's dining area. Despite the noise, the place had a good ambience and the wine was fragrant. Do you two have anything important to discuss with me? Jiang Hao asked. We consider this a poetic gathering among friends. Can't we find some time to drink and compose poetry together? Wan Xiao smiled. Who among us knows how to compose poetry? Jiang Hao thought about saying this but found it somewhat offensive. I'm here on behalf of someone. Si Qing placed a jade pendant on the table. This is a gift from the Bright Moon sect for you. Jiang Hao accepted the jade pendant and saw the characters Bright Moon inscribed on it. This was the third jade pendant he had received. You can use this jade pendant to ask the Bright Moon sect for help once. It may not be their full support but they will definitely do their best, Si Qing said. Jiang Hao looked at the jade pendant and pushed it back to Si Qing. I shouldn't accept rewards without making contributions. The jade pendant had likely been sent to him because the people thought that he had assisted during the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. They probably didn't know for sure whether he had actually taken any action. They might only be suspicious of it. There was no evidence. Although the jade pendant was quite tempting, it came with too much responsibility. He might not be able to handle it. Moreover, if he accepted it, he would probably be confirming that he was the one who had helped with the purple aura. That would be dangerous. While they didn't seem likely to take action against him, who could say what they might do in secret? Considering all this, it was best not to accept the jade pendant. Si Qing didn't insist. He put away the jade pendant. In that case, why don't you compose a poem, friend? Jiang Hao was speechless. He felt it was necessary to come up with a poem to get rid of them. Chapter 452, Holding the Hand of the Demoness. By the riverside at a small stall, Jiang Hao used wine as ink and wrote some words on the table. After finishing, he stood up and bowed. Goodbye. The wine had been enchanted with a spell, so it didn't dissipate quickly. Wan Xiao and Si Qing immediately began examining the words. They had come out to the inn in search of a quiet place. When they heard that Jiang Hao was willing to compose a poem, they were delighted. What mattered most was what he would write. I'll recite it first. Wan Xiao looked at the words and began reading aloud. Have you not seen that the yellow river's waters come from the heavens? In life, one should enjoy it to the fullest. Don't let the golden cup be empty in front of the moon. Keep pouring the wine. Don't stop. Wan Xiao and Si Qing continued reciting the poem. Si Qing burst into laughter. Haha, Wan Xiao, look at this line. Throughout history, sages and wise men have all been lonely, but only drinkers leave their mark. Did you see that? It's meant for me. It's for me. Ah, I told you not to skip drinking with me. Do you regret it now? Wan Xiao looked at the person next to him and then kicked him into the water. Si Qing fell into the water once more. After struggling for a few moments, Si Qing cried out for help, but Wan Xiao paid him no attention. He continued reading the poem. Once they were done reading, they carefully wrote the poem down in a notebook. You can take this to show the others, but it's a pity. Wan Xiao shook his head. He was certain now that these poems weren't written by Jiang Hao. Despite eating and drinking together, Jiang Hao didn't even touch alcohol. The poems didn't reflect his temperament. However, he was curious. He reached out and pulled Si Qing out of the water. Phew, saved. I have a question for you. What is it? Where is the Yellow River? In the vast expanse of mountains and rivers, there are a total of 128 rivers with the same name and 36 cities with the same name. Which one are you referring to? Wan Xiao fell silent for a moment and then kicked Si Qing back into the water. This time, the wineskin didn't fall into the water with him but remained in Wan Xiao's hand. Watching Si Qing struggling in the water, Wan Xiao took a sip of wine and felt annoyed. With a swish, the wineskin hit Si Ching on the head. Come on. The water only reaches your knees. Si Ching was stunned for a moment and he stood up. It turned out the river wasn't very deep. Haha, you crack me up. Thought. Si Ching fell into the deeper end of the water. Help, help. Jiang Hao returned to the inn. He thought that Wan Xiu and Si Ching probably wouldn't come looking for him again. He didn't drink alcohol, so they would be thinking that he couldn't have composed that poem after all. The real-life experience required to compose such a poem was missing. Both Wan Xiu and Si Ching were intelligent, and they would have questioned it. All the necessary arrangements had been made, and he could return at any time. In the month of July, when he returned, he would be able to see the requirements for the incarnation of the immortal peach tree. 10 days later, Jiang Hao wandered around with Hong Yuya. He enjoyed the night. Some sects began to leave, while others remained to watch the ongoing competition. The intensity of the competition was ever increasing. Most of those who hadn't left yet wanted to see how strong these talented individuals really were. Jiang Hao also went to watch and indeed found them to be very powerful. However, he had a feeling that they weren't giving it their all, which left him somewhat disappointed. He couldn't witness their full power. There probably aren't any more clues left. Most of them have been handled by the Bright Moon sect, Jiang Hao said. With the conclusion of the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment ceremony, members of the Bright Moon sect were now free to act, and they had indeed done a lot. Not only had the members of the End of All Things disappeared, but the rumors had also ended. Hong Yuya didn't say much, but instead led him to a restaurant and ordered some food. She made him spend a dozen or so spirit stones. Come closer, Hong Yuya whispered. Jiang Hao was puzzled but moved closer. At this moment, Hong Yuya's hand pressed against his chest. Immediately, something began to spread. It was the one-heart palm. Jiang Hao realized that it was time to return. Sometimes, he wondered if he could escape the clutches of this Demoness by returning directly to the sect. As far as he knew, Hong Yuya couldn't travel instantly from the Heavenly Note sect to the Bright Moon sect. However, he wasn't sure how long he could delay her. This left him in a dilemma about whether to leave behind a ring here for the future. However, if he didn't use it, someone might take it and activate it. Once that was done, he would lose that ring entirely. It simply wasn't worth the risk. He would have to consider it later. There would be opportunities to return to the eastern region or other places in the future. There weren't many rings left. There was one each for the beast, Shaoli, and the corpse realm. There was another one in the courtyard. Including the main ring, there were only 4 left. Let's go to the Star River again tonight, Hong Yuya said. Jiang Hao nodded. On the first day of their arrival, they visited the Star River. They had met Wan Xiu and Si Ching there, which had spoiled the mood. Nevertheless, the place was spectacular. At night, with the starry sky reflecting brightly on the river, Jiang Hao paddled a boat on the Star River. Hong Yuya sat on a wooden chair at the bow of the boat and gazed at the Star River with a distant look on her face. She was lost in thought. Jiang Hao didn't know what was on her mind. This time they didn't encounter any noisy people. Jiang Hao paddled all the way to the center of the Star River, where the stars shone brilliantly. It resembled a vast sea of stars. Jiang Hao stopped here. He was awed by the breathtaking scenery. The view was even more beautiful than when he was here before. The beauty of this place prompted Hong Yuya to stand up. After a long while, they left the Star River and docked downstream. How do you plan to return? Hong Yuya suddenly asked. After securing the wooden boat, Jiang Hao said, the same way we came. Can only one person return? Hong Yuya asked. Jiang Hao thought about it briefly and was about to nod in agreement. However, the change in Hong Yuya's face made him change his mind. He said, trying it with more people is possible, but I can't be sure if there are any risks. They had tried it once before, and while it had been successful, they didn't know the details. In that case, let's give it a try, Hong Yuya said. Please extend your hand, senior, Jiang Hao said. As Hong Yuya placed his hand in front of him, Jiang Hao took out the ring and placed it on her wrist. During the process, Jiang Hao dared not look into her eyes and focused on completing it as quickly as possible. Apologies, he said as he grasped Hong Yuya's hand and activated the golden ring that connected to the courtyard. Then the two of them disappeared on the spot. On the city walls, Si Ching and Wan Xiu were drinking. Suddenly they paused and looked toward the city. It seems like they've left, Wan Xiu said. They did. What a pity. All this feels boring again all of a sudden, Si Ching said. He then turned to the person beside him. What about you? When are you leaving? In a few days. I want to travel around. Unlike you who stays here every day. It's no fun at all, Wuxia said with a smile. So be it. Xi chuckled. Wuxia didn't pay any attention to him and looked at the Star River. Then he kicked Xi out of his way. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.